Chapter 1. Kanglan Empire, Chaoyang Ancient City, Demon Beast Mountain Range. Ha! 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 A severely injured young man was panting heavily as he struggled to run forward. His legs were sore and swollen. In the end, he could not hold on any longer and knelt on the ground weakly. At this moment, a young man appeared in front of him. "Little trash, why aren't you running anymore? Try running again if you dare." The young man mocked, "Since you can't run anymore, I'll send you down to accompany your two old men." Jiyu closed his eyes in despair. His lips curled into a self-mocking smile. So what if he died? It wasn't his first time dying anyway. However, at this moment, an emotionless and cold voice rang in his mind. Ding! It's detected that the owner is in danger. The 999 times cultivation system has been activated in advance. The moment the cold voice rang, Jiyu suddenly felt that his body was filled with energy. To be precise, he recovered from his severely injured state to his peak state in an instant. It was the system? Jiyu opened his eyes abruptly. As a transmigrator, how could he not know about the system? With hope rekindled, he did not plan to wait for death like this. The reason he knew about the system was that he had transmigrated from Earth to the mysterious heavenly continent 16 years ago. This was a fantasy world where the strong preyed on the weak and the strong preyed on the weak. He did not have many memories of his birth parents. He was adopted by an ordinary family in Chaoyang Ancient City when he was young. He thought that he would be able to make a name for himself in this world. Who would have thought that the system would only be activated when he reached 18 years old? Not only that, his talent was extremely mediocre and his physique was almost useless. Just yesterday, he coincidentally obtained a miraculous elixir that could change one's aptitude. However, the young master of the Chen family, one of the three major families in Chaoyang Ancient City, found out about it. Overnight, his family was destroyed. His adoptive parents lost their lives in order to help him escape. Jiyu could not help but tremble at the thought of that scene. He clenched his fists tightly and his eyes turned gloomy. He wanted to grind his teeth into pieces. However, Chen Yang wanted to eliminate the root of the problem. He kept running and Chen Yang's subordinates kept chasing after him. When he reached the Demon Beast Mountain, he was finally exhausted. Fortunately, he activated the system in time. Otherwise, he would have died just now. Jiyu calmed down the hatred in his heart. The most important thing now was to survive. He dodged to the side and dodged a dagger coming at him from the front. Ding! Master has taken a step forward. Basic movement technique experience gained, 1 by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Your basic movement technique has successfully broken through to the initial success stage. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Your basic movement technique has successfully broken through to the mastery realm. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Your basic movement technique has successfully broken through to the dominating refinement realm. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Your basic movement technique has successfully broken through to the greater height stage. Detected that the basic movement technique experience bar is full, automatically upgraded to the yellow rank low-grade profound skill soaring wind steps. At this moment, a series of voices bombarded his mind one after another, bombarding him until he was in a daze. He felt a large amount of information regarding the soaring wind steps suddenly surge into his mind, and he inexplicably grasped this profound movement skill. This system is too awesome. Jiyu's eyes were full of disbelief. He had just dodged a dagger and he had mastered a yellow level skill. How could there be such a miraculous thing in the world? But he immediately recovered. It was not the time to be distracted. He could lose his life if he was not careful. The one who attacked Jiyu with the dagger was a young man in his 20s. Seeing that he missed, the young man was surprised. "Oh? I didn't expect you to have the strength to dodge. But what's the use? If Chen Shaoye wants you to die, you will die today." The young man's eyes flashed with malice. The dagger went towards Jiyu's neck again. Chapter 2. Although he didn't know why this trash still had the strength to resist, this trash only had a cultivation at the 3rd level of the body tempering stage and was now heavily injured. He could casually kill this trash. Jiyu's gaze was gloomy as he stared at the young man before him. He instinctively dodged and easily dodged the attack. However, he didn't dodge to the end this time. When he moved to the side of the young man, he clenched his right fist and instantly smashed it towards the young man's abdomen. At the instant his fist smashed out, that icy cold and emotionless voice sounded out once again. Ding. Master has struck a fist. Basic fist technique obtained experience. 1 by 999 times. Ding. Congratulations, Master. Basic fist technique has broken through to the perfection of perfection. Ding. Detected that basic fist technique experience is full, automatically upgraded to yellow rank low-grade profound skill, inch force fist. Similar to before, a large amount of knowledge instantly gushed into Jiyu's mind. He practically learned the inch force fist by himself. He was instantly pleasantly surprised. Earlier, he casually took a step and obtained a yellow rank movement technique. Now, he casually struck a punch and obtained a yellow rank fist technique. An expensive profound skill was actually so easily obtained in front of him. Was there anything more awesome than this in the world? At the same time, on the other side, because Jiyu's speed was truly too fast, the young man didn't even have time to react before his abdomen was heavily struck by Jiyu's basic fist technique that had already reached the perfection of perfection stage. Cough. The young man only felt a burst of intense pain in his abdomen. He couldn't help but bend down and cover his abdomen with both hands. His expression was unsightly and his eyes were filled with disbelief. He didn't dare believe that this trash speed was actually so fast, and was even able to injure him who had a higher cultivation. The young man looked at Jiyu with a savage expression. How did this trash become so strong? Jiyu laughed coldly. It's your turn now. His gaze turned cold as he instantly executed the inch force fist and smashed it towards the young man without holding back in the slightest. Ding. Master has executed the inch force fist. Inch force fist obtained experience, 20 by 999 times. Ding. Congratulations, Master. The yellow rank inferior profound skill inch force fist has successfully broken through to initial success. With a muffled bang, the young man was sent flying 1 or 2 meters away. Jiyu coldly looked at the unconscious young man at her feet. There was no trace of pity in her eyes. Then, he walked to a rock and sat down. Jiyu raised his head slightly and sighed. The system was finally activated. He no longer had to endure the humiliation of others. A sinister light flashed across his eyes. With this system, he must kill that dog, Chen Yang. At this moment, he recalled the system's performance just now. It seemed that no matter what he did, he would receive 999 times experience enhancement. The system's name was also called the 999 times cultivation system. Suddenly, a thought rose in his mind. Since that was the case, would practicing martial arts also give him 999 times more experience? In order to prove her conjecture, Jiyu couldn't wait to start cultivating. Suppressing the excitement in his heart, he quickly entered a meditative state. A martial artist needed profound qi to practice martial arts. Profound qi was an illusory thing between heaven and earth. He was absorbing profound qi from heaven and earth. It flowed from the top of his head into his body, then flowed through his meridians and finally gathered in his dantian. At this moment, Jiyu had already started cultivating for more than half a minute. However, he still didn't hear the system's notification. He couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. But very quickly, he felt relieved. After all, the system was already awesome enough. If practicing martial arts could give him 999 times experience enhancement, then it would be ridiculously awesome. However, just as Jiyu was about to give up on cultivating, the system's notification suddenly sounded. Chapter 3. Ding. Master has cultivated martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation EXP gained, 1 by 999 times. Ding. Congratulations, Master. Martial cultivation has successfully broken through to the middle stage of the 3rd level of the body tempering realm. Jiyu's body suddenly trembled. His eyes were filled with both joy and shock. It turned out that he had to cultivate for a full minute to get the 999 times experience enhancement. He almost gave up. Furthermore, his martial cultivation had a breakthrough just like that. This was too terrifying. Before this, he had been stuck at the early stage of the third level of the body tempering realm for 2 to 3 months. Now, he only needed 1 minute to break through. This is too awesome. Ji was wild with joy. If this continued, it wouldn't be long before he could find Chen Yang for revenge. Then, he continued to cultivate his martial arts. With the 999X cultivation system, breaking through was as easy as eating and drinking tea for him. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Martial cultivation has successfully broken through to the middle stage of the 4th level of the body tempering realm. After about 2 hours, Ji directly broke through 5 stages. His cultivation rose from the middle stage of the 3rd level of the body tempering realm to the middle stage of the 4th level of the body tempering realm. If this kind of terrifying cultivation speed were to spread, it would definitely shock the entire Chaoyang ancient city and even the Kanglan Empire. However, he wasn't a fool. He couldn't reveal this kind of information. Otherwise, he would attract a lot of trouble and even get himself killed. It was already late, so Ji started to leave. On the way out of the Demon Beast mountain range, Ji encountered a few first-grade demonic beasts. He killed them and collected some demonic beast materials. Human martial artists were divided into the body tempering realm, defensive realm, Tongxian realm, spirit profound realm, and so on. There were a total of 4 types of demonic beasts in the Demon Beast mountain range. They were divided into 1st grade to 4th grade demonic beasts. 1st grade demonic beasts corresponded to body tempering realm martial artists, 2nd grade demonic beasts corresponded to defensive realm martial artists, and so on. While hunting demonic beasts, soaring wind steps and inch force fist had also been strengthened to the mastery level. Minor success, mastery, perfection, and great perfection. These were the 4 realms of Shen techniques. After leaving the Monster Beast mountain range, he stopped at a small town outside the Monster Beast mountain range and found a grocery store. During this trip, he had obtained a lot of Demon Beast materials. He planned to exchange them for some gold coins. Gold coins were the universal currency of this world. In other words, it was money. The shopkeeper sitting behind the counter wanted to receive the guest, but when he saw the young man covered in wounds and blood, he couldn't help but be stunned. He had stayed here for many years and had seen many heavily injured martial cultivators. However, this was the first time he had seen someone who could still be so lively despite being heavily injured. Ji didn't say a word and directly put the sack of demonic beast materials in front of the counter. The shopkeeper came back to his senses and opened the sack to take a look. These demonic beast materials are worth about 90 gold coins in total. I'll give you 100 gold coins. All right. Ji nodded slightly and left the grocery store with a small cloth bag containing 100 gold coins. However, just as he stepped out of the grocery store, he happened to pass by 2 people who came in from outside. Ji took a glance and found that it was a girl in a red dress and a maid holding a sword. The girl in the red dress was elegant and had unforgettable facial features. Ji recognized the girl in the red dress. It seemed that she was Jiang Yuchu, the daughter of the city lord of Chaoyang ancient city. Moreover, she was undoubtedly the first genius. It was said that her cultivation had reached the defensive mystic realm. However, even if this girl was strong, he wouldn't have much of a reaction. After all, for him, practicing martial arts was almost as simple as eating and drinking tea. It was only a matter of time before he surpassed the first genius. Although this girl was a rare beauty, his soul wouldn't be taken away. He just casually glanced at her and no longer paid attention to her. After a while, the maid holding the sword looked back at the young man who was gradually disappearing. "What's wrong?" the girl in the red dress asked with an elegant voice. "Nothing. I just feel that the young man is a bit special. He was injured so badly but still managed to come out of the Monster Beast mountain range alive." The maid holding the sword answered truthfully. Chapter 4. Chaoyang Ancient City, Lin Family Mansion. Now that Ji family was ruined, he could only go to the Lin family. The Lin family was one of the 3 great families in Chaoyang Ancient City, and their influence was on par with the Chen family. A year ago, in order to share the burden of the family, he ran to the Lin family to become a servant and listen to orders. He could also stay here. However, he didn't want to stay here any longer. He planned to find a new place to live because he was a servant in the Lin family and had to listen to orders at any time. How could he accept this? However, as one of the three great families, the Lin family had a great reputation in Chaoyang Ancient City and had detailed records of everyone in the mansion. If he left the Lin family without a word, it would be difficult for him to do anything in Chaoyang Ancient City in the future. Therefore, he came back to the Lin family this time to go through the procedures to leave the Lin family. Not long after, Jiyu came to a hall. A year ago, he was taken in by the Lin family here. If he wanted to go through the procedures to leave the Lin family, he had to go here as well. Of course, only solitary martial artists could go through the procedures. Members of the Lin family couldn't leave so easily. I want to go through the procedures to leave the Lin family, Jiyu said to an old man in front of him. The old man sized up Jiyu, and a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. I remember that you came to my Lin clan a year ago, and now you've broken through to the 5th level of the body tempering stage. He could see that this young man's cultivation was at the 5th level of the body tempering stage. He remembered that when this young man first came to the Lin family, he was only at the 2nd level of the body tempering stage. It had only been a year, but his cultivation had improved so much. He couldn't help but be amazed by this young man's martial talent. His gaze gradually became more serious. However, the old man didn't know that this was Jiyu's cultivation that had just broken through today. Yes. Jiyu nodded slightly. He wasn't surprised that the old man could see through his cultivation. This was because he had heard that this old man's cultivation level was at least at the 5th level of the defensive profound realm. An expert with such strength could easily see through his true cultivation level. The old man thought for a moment and said, I think I know why you want to leave the Lin family. You probably don't want to continue being a servant in the Lin family. That's right. Jiyu replied. She couldn't help but sigh in her heart. This old man was quite smart. He had guessed the reason why he wanted to leave the Lin family immediately. Actually, you don't have to leave the Lin family. Now that your cultivation has reached the 5th level of the body tempering stage, I can raise your status to the same level as those ordinary disciples. Moreover, you won't be restricted by the Lin family. The old man said. It was because of this kind of talent that he wanted to keep in the Lin family. If it were an ordinary person, he wouldn't even bother to say a word. This attracted the attention of the surrounding people. Usually, the elders rarely spoke, giving them the impression that they were serious and taciturn. They rarely saw the elders speak so politely to others. They couldn't help but guess who this young man was. After hearing the old man's words, Jiyu thought for a moment and respectfully said, Then I'll have to trouble elder. The reason why he wanted to leave the Lin family was because he felt uncomfortable with the status of a servant. Since he could get rid of his status as a servant and not be restricted by the Lin family, there was nothing wrong with continuing to stay in the Lin family. Then, from today onwards, you are no longer a servant. If you encounter any trouble, this token can prove your identity. As he spoke, the old man took out a white token and gave it to Jiyu. Thank you, elder. After receiving the command medallion, Jiyu bowed and left the place. He returned to his residence. It was a very simple and ordinary house, but he was used to it. Jiyu turned around and closed the door. Then, she began to study the 999 times cultivation system. The 999 times cultivation system is so awesome. There should be many functions that I haven't discovered yet. Based on the current situation, walking can strengthen one's movement technique, one punch can strengthen one's fist technique, and 1 minute of cultivation can increase one's experience by 999 times. Then, according to reason, one kick can strengthen one's leg technique, one slap can strengthen one's palm technique, and so on. Jiyu muttered and tried to perform a high side kick. Chapter 5. Ding. Master kicked, basic leg technique gained experience, 1 by 999 times. Ding. Congratulations master, basic leg technique has broken through to peak of perfection. Ding. Basic leg technique gained experience, automatically upgraded to inferior yellow rank profound skill Tempest Kick. Sure enough, as Jiyu expected, a casual kick was able to strengthen his leg technique by 999 times. Just as he was about to continue experimenting, a series of soft knocks suddenly came from outside the door. "Young master, the elder sent me to remind you that you can receive your salary today." Hearing the voice from outside the door, Jiyu immediately pulled his attention away from the system. "I understand," Jiyu responded, and the person outside the door left. Not long after, Jiyu received some gold coins and 3 elixirs. This was the salary he could receive every month. Today just so happened to raise his status, otherwise, as a servant in the past, he would not be able to receive anything. After returning to his room, Jiyu sat on the bed and looked at the 3 elixirs in his hand. These 3 elixirs were all gradeless elixirs, small strength pills. Although their value was not high, they were suitable for body-tempering stage martial artists to consume. I wonder if consuming these elixirs can also increase my experience by 999 times. Jiyu pondered as he threw one of the small strength pills into his mouth. At this moment, the familiar sound of the system notification sounded. Ding. Master has consumed a small strength pill. Experience gained in martial arts cultivation, 100*999x. Ding. Congratulations master, martial cultivation has successfully broken through to the late stage of the 5th level of the body tempering stage. Feeling the surge of profound energy in his body and breaking through 2 stages, Jiyu was immediately overjoyed. He discovered that all the effects of the small strength pill were instantly absorbed by him, and he did not feel any discomfort. This should be the system's credit. Then, Jiyu simply swallowed the remaining 2 small strength pills together. After a moment, he originally thought that he could directly break through to the 6th level of the body tempering stage, but he was just a little bit short and stopped at the peak of the 5th level of the body tempering stage. However, he did not feel disappointed. He was very satisfied with the effects of the pills. Just 3 gradeless pills allowed him to break through 3 small realms in an instant. Jiyu thought to herself, "Tomorrow, I'll go to the Demon Beast mountain range to hunt more demon beast." Although his strength was not bad now, there was still a big gap between him and the Chen family's eldest young master, Chen Yang. He remembered that Chen Yang's cultivation had reached the 9th level of the body tempering stage and he possessed various yellow rank profound skills. If he were to encounter Chen Yang now, he would still be unable to contend against him. Therefore, he had to increase his cultivation as soon as possible. Currently, the fastest way to increase his cultivation was to consume pills, but pills were more expensive. With the gold coins he had on him right now, he couldn't buy many pills, so he had to go to the Demon Beast mountain range to hunt for more gold coins. 10 miles away from Chaoyang Ancient City, there was a place called the Monster Mountain Range. It was one of the most dangerous places in the entire Kanglan Empire. The Demon Beast mountain range, as its name suggested, contained many demon beasts and was extremely dangerous. However, other than demonic beasts, there were also all kinds of heaven and earth treasures. Therefore, many young talents chose to come here to train. Today, Jiyu changed into a clean white shirt and entered the Demon Beast mountain range again. Although the Demon Beast mountain range was very dangerous, it was divided into 3 areas: the outer area, the inner area, and the core area. The outer region was the outermost ring. Usually, there were some rank 1 monsters. Even rank 2 monsters were extremely rare. The danger level was relatively low. Jiyu was planning to only hunt monsters in the outer region this time. With my current strength, as long as I'm careful in the outer regions, there shouldn't be any major problems. Jiyu murmured and strode into the Monster Beast mountain range. As he walked, he suddenly sensed a strong demonic aura coming from not far away. His expression suddenly changed, and he looked in the direction of the demonic aura. After passing through a patch of grass, he saw a pack of crimson-black demon wolves resting there. There were about a dozen of them. Jiyu could tell at a glance that these crimson-black demon wolves were all rank 1/3 to rank 4 demonic beasts. They were not much of a threat to him. Without much hesitation, he directly used the movement technique high wind steps and rushed over. Chapter 6. Ding. Master used soaring wind steps, Soaring wind steps gained experience, 20 by 999 times. Ding. Master used inch strength fist gained experience, 20 by 999 times. First, the inch strength fist killed a crimson-black demon wolf, and the movement immediately woke up the rest of the crimson-black demon wolves. When they saw their companion killed, they all let out a low roar, which was to warn Jiyu. However, Jiyu completely ignored the warning of the crimson-black demon wolf and rushed to the second crimson-black demon wolf without stopping. The third, the fourth. In less than 10 minutes, the last crimson-black demon wolf was also killed by Jiyu with one punch. After killing all the crimson-black demon wolves, his soaring wind steps and inch strength fist had also grown to the point of perfection. Then, after harvesting all the valuable materials on the crimson-black demon wolves' corpses, Jiyu continued to move forward. Half a day later, in the Demon Beast mountain range, Jiyu stood on the corpse of a demon beast that was beyond recognition, and he carried a heavy sack on his shoulder. In this half a day, he hunted a lot of demon beasts, and as long as there were valuable materials, he put them into the big sack. Because the big sack was full and couldn't hold anything more, he planned to go out and sell this sack of demon beast materials first. This is too troublesome. Let's see if I can get a storage ring. Jiyu thought. If he had to carry a big sack every time he came to hunt demon beasts, and he had to go out and empty the sack from time to time, it would be too troublesome. At this time, he needed a small thing called a storage ring. The small storage ring had its own space, and almost anything could be put in it, and it was very convenient to use. It was just that the price of a storage ring was relatively expensive, and he wasn't sure if he could buy it. No matter what, let's go and clean up these demon beast materials first. Jiyu muttered to himself as he walked toward the exit of the Demon Beast mountain range. While walking, the system had been constantly strengthening his movement technique. Jiyu felt that his movement technique soaring wind steps would be strengthened to perfection soon, and he was very curious if the strengthened soaring wind steps would still be upgraded. After a long time, Jiyu walked out of the Demon Beast mountain range and came to the town she had been to before. It was still the same grocery store. At this time, the shopkeeper was taking a nap. Suddenly, he saw someone carrying a large gunny sack walk in. Sensing that business was coming, he instantly woke up. Taking a closer look, he realized that it was the young man who had come again yesterday. The shopkeeper couldn't help but feel surprised. In less than a day, he had already collected so many materials. Selling materials. Jiyu placed the big sack in front of the shopkeeper and said coldly, "All right." The shopkeeper couldn't wait to open the sack. Immediately, the smell of blood rushed to his heart, but he seemed to be used to it. He didn't even frown. Because the sack was stuffed to the brim, some demonic beast materials fell out when it was opened. The shopkeeper looked at the countless demonic beast materials, his eyes filled with surprise. He couldn't help but ask the young man in front of him, "So many demonic beast materials, did you hunt them all by yourself?" Jiyu nodded slightly without any expression on her face. Hiss! The shopkeeper couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. According to the estimation of these demonic beast materials, the young man in front of him had hunted at least 20 or 30 first-rank demonic beasts, and it only took him one day. To have such strength at such a young age, he was probably a genius of a big family. Thinking of this, the shopkeeper suddenly became respectful. These demonic beast materials are worth a total of 670 gold coins. I'll give you 700 gold coins, how about it? He took out a large bag of gold coins from under the counter and waited for the young man in front of him to agree. Okay. Jiyu nodded. The price was reasonable, and he was given a few extra gold coins, so he naturally accepted it. The shopkeeper immediately handed the large bag of gold coins to Jiyu, and then asked, "Then, besides selling these materials, does young master want to buy anything else?" Jiyu said, "Do you have a storage ring here? How much is the price?" "I do have a storage ring. Does young master want a cheaper one or a more expensive one?" The shopkeeper was ready to take out a storage ring to show Jiyu. Chapter 7. A few minutes later, a man wearing a black robe that covered his face walked out of the grocery store. It was Jiyu. In addition to spending 300 gold coins to purchase an inferior first-grade storage ring, He also bought a black robe. He checked the storage ring with his spiritual power and found that it was about the size of a thatched cottage. As for why he bought the black robe, it was because he was not strong enough to fight against Chen Yang, so it was necessary to hide his identity. Ji Yu walked back to Chaoyang Ancient City. He did not plan to go back to the Lin Mansion, but to the place where he could trade pills. Not long after, a magnificent building appeared in front of Ji Yu. This building was called the Chaoyang Branch. It was a branch of the Alchemy Guild. It was also the place where pills were traded in Chaoyang Ancient City. In this world, there was a rather special profession called the alchemist. They were able to refine all kinds of pills that were similar to pills. There were many types of medicinal pills. There were medicinal pills that could assist in cultivation, medicinal pills that could restore Xian Qi, medicinal pills that could heal injuries, and so on. Pills were so magical that the Alchemy Guild had always had a high status. They were special existences that all the major forces were willing to pay a price to recruit. However, not everyone could become an Alchemy Guild. To be precise, there was less than 1 in 10,000 people who could become an Alchemy Guild. To become a well-respected Alchemy Guild, one had to have strong spiritual power and talent in alchemy. The Chaoyang branch in front of him was a branch of the Alchemy Guild that was set up for all the Alchemy Guild in Chaoyang Ancient City. As for why it was called a branch, it was because the Alchemy Guild was located in all the ancient cities in the Kanglan Empire. However, the main branch only existed in the imperial city of the Kanglan Empire. The rest of the branches could only be considered branches. Speaking of which, it would be great if I could become an Alchemy Guild. Ji Yu could not help but sigh as he looked at the Alchemy Guild branch in front of him. If he could become an alchemist, there would be many benefits to him. Most importantly, he would be able to refine pills for himself to consume. Coupled with the system's 999 times cultivation speed, his cultivation would soar as if he was on a plane. However, he was still self-aware, and this kind of laughable thought quickly sank in his heart. It wasn't that he hadn't tried to come into contact with the Tao of Alchemy before, but at that time, whenever he saw the Tao of Alchemy in those books, his eyes would become dizzy and he wouldn't be able to absorb it at all. Even if he gritted his teeth and continued to study, he wouldn't be able to comprehend it at all. It could be said that his talent in alchemy was almost as mediocre as his talent in martial arts. He had no chance of becoming an alchemist at all. Ji Yu shook her head in self-mockery. Not wanting to think about these messy matters anymore, she quickly walked into the Alchemist Guild. The reason why he specially came here to trade for medicinal pills was because there were many black-hearted stores that sold defective or fake goods. He didn't want to be cheated, so it was best to come here to buy medicinal pills. However, at this moment, a commotion suddenly came from behind. Yu Shuyun actually appeared. Where? That beautiful woman is Yu Shuyun. Who would have thought that I would actually be able to see the alchemy genius Yu Shuyun with my own eyes today? I heard that there's going to be an alchemy class soon, and the lecturer is this young lady Yu. Otherwise, why would we be able to see her so easily? Hearing the commotion coming from the surroundings, Ji Yu subconsciously turned around to take a look. He saw a beautiful woman in a white dress with exquisite features appear in the crowd. She was like the moon surrounded by stars, but the beautiful woman's expression was still cold. Ji Yu found out that this beautiful woman was called Yu Shuyun from the words of the people around him. Although he had never seen this woman before, he recalled her identity as soon as he heard her name. The daughter of the Chaoyang branch's president, the #1 alchemy genius in Chaoyang Ancient City, and a rare genius that only appeared once in 100 years. These were all Yu Shuyun's reputation. Ji Yu had stayed in Chaoyang Ancient City for so many years, so he naturally heard of such a famous beauty. However, he only took a few glances and didn't continue to pay attention to Yu Shuyun. He admitted that this was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen in this world, but he was bent on revenge and vowed to kill Chen Yang. After all, he and Yu Shuyun were not in the same world. Ji Yu turned around calmly and continued to walk into the Chaoyang branch. On the other hand, Yu Shuyun completely ignored the gazes and noises around her. She looked straight ahead and happened to see Ji Yu standing at the entrance of the Chaoyang branch. Ji Yu glanced at her and turned around, which seemed to have attracted her attention. Chapter 8. Jiyu walked into the Chaoyang branch and came to a hall. This was his first time in the Chaoyang branch, so he wasn't familiar with the place. Thus, he wandered around to see how he could buy pills. Not long after he wandered around, a pretty young woman called out to him, "Is there anything I can help you with?" Because Jiyu was wearing a black robe, the young woman couldn't see his face clearly. Of course, she didn't know that he was still a teenager. Jiyu glanced at the young woman and felt that she should be the receptionist of the Chaoyang branch. Then, he replied in a low voice, "I want to buy some pills." Hearing that he was here to buy pills, the receptionist was delighted and her attitude became more respectful. "Then I will lead the way for you." "Okay." Jiyu nodded slightly and followed behind the receptionist. Not long after, Jiyu followed the receptionist to an area with a lot of people. The function of the Alchemist Guild wasn't just to trade pills. There were many other functions other than that. Thus, there was a need for a special area to trade pills with customers. "Mister, this is the area for trading pills." The receptionist smiled respectfully. "Oh right, our Chaoyang branch will be holding an alchemy class soon. It will be taught by Miss Yu Shuyun. If you are interested, you can spend 1,000 gold coins in these 2 days to get the qualification to attend the alchemy class for free." "Alchemy class? That's interesting." Jiyu thought for a moment and nodded. "I understand. I will see how it goes." In fact, he was already tempted. Since it was a free qualification, why not give it a try? It wasn't difficult for him to accumulate 1,000 gold coins. Although he only had about 400 gold coins left, he just needed to go to the Demon Beast mountain range again and he would be able to earn the rest of the gold coins he was lacking. After that, Jiyu began to look for pills. He came to a small area that specialized in trading Tier 1 pills. All the counters in this area were filled with Tier 1 pills. However, first-grade medicinal pills were also divided into 3 grades: low grade, medium grade, and high grade. Low grade was the lowest, while high grade was the highest. Due to the high price of medicinal pills, Jiyu could only buy some low-grade medicinal pills with the 400 gold coins she currently had. "May I ask what kind of pills Mr. needs?" A woman in charge of this counter walked over and asked in a respectful tone. "Just give me a few low-grade Tier 1 medicinal pills that can help with my cultivation," Jiyu said after pondering for a moment. "All right." The woman immediately searched under the counter and found a small jade bottle with exquisite craftsmanship. She placed it in front of Jiyu and introduced, "This is the most commonly seen quenching body pill used to assist in cultivation. It's a first-grade pill. Please take a look, young master." Jiyu took the jade bottle and pinched the stopper open to take a look. He found a total of 4 pellet-sized quenching body pills inside. He then asked, "What's the price?" "This bottle of quenching body pills is sold for 400 gold coins." The woman replied. Jiyu was silent for a moment. His face hidden under the black robe had a slight bitter smile. However, he still took out a large bag of gold coins from his storage ring and handed it to the woman. "There's a total of 400 gold coins in here. Happy transaction." "Thank you, mister." The woman respectfully bowed. After that, Jiyu left the pill trading area. Buying a bottle of quenching body pills cost him 400 gold coins. Now that he didn't have many gold coins left, he naturally didn't need to continue to stay in the pill trading area. Jiyu walked towards the exit while looking at the bottle of pills in his hand. Such a small bottle only contained 4 quenching body pills. In other words, 1 quenching body pill would cost 100 gold coins. This made him feel somewhat pained. Fortunately, he had the 999x cultivation system. These 4 quenching body pills should be able to increase his cultivation by a lot. What kind of realm would he be able to reach? Jiyu endured the anticipation in his heart and quickly walked out of the Chaoyang branch. Under normal circumstances, even if he only took 1 quenching body pill, with the 999x cultivation system's support, he would be able to break through in an instant. Although the quenching body realm's breakthrough wouldn't cause much of a commotion, he didn't want to break through in a place like the Chaoyang branch where there were so many eyes. Not long after, Jiyu walked into a deserted alley and prepared to take the quenching body pill. He sat on a stone bench and opened the jade bottle. He poured out a quenching body pill and impatiently swallowed it. Chapter 9. Ding. Master has consumed a body-tempering pill. Martial Dao experience gained, 1000 by 999 times. Ding. Congratulations Master. Martial Dao cultivation has successfully broken through to the middle stage of the 6th level of the body-tempering stage. Jiyu's eyes flashed with surprise. The body-tempering pill actually increased his experience by so much. Not only did it allow him to break through to the 6th level of the body-tempering stage, but it also allowed him to reach the middle stage. If I consume the remaining 3 body-tempering pills, my martial Dao cultivation will at least break through to the 7th level of the body-tempering stage. With anticipation in his heart, Jiyu directly stuffed the remaining 3 body-tempering pills into his mouth. Ordinary people wouldn't dare to do what he did. He only dared to do so because he clearly knew that the pills didn't have any negative effects on him. Ding. Master has consumed a body-tempering pill. Martial Dao experience gained, 1000 by 999 times. Ding. Congratulations Master. Martial Dao cultivation has successfully broken through to the middle stage of the 7th level of the body-tempering stage. The 3 body-tempering pills successfully converted to 999 times the experience. Jiyu's martial Dao cultivation directly jumped 5 stages, breaking through from the middle stage of the 6th level of the body-tempering stage to the middle stage of the 7th level of the body-tempering stage in one go. Such an awesome effect could be said to have exceeded his expectations. Next, I'll continue to hunt demonic beasts in the Demon Beast mountain range to earn gold coins. As long as I don't slack off, relying on this 999 times cultivation system, I'll probably be able to reach the defensive profound realm in less than 7 days. Jiyu muttered to himself. Once he broke through to the defensive profound realm, it meant that he had enough strength to take revenge on Chen Yang. 1 day later, in the Demon Beast mountain range. During this entire day, Jiyu madly searched for demonic beasts to hunt. With the fastest efficiency, he hunted 39 demonic beasts. At this moment, he was currently hunting 40 demonic beasts. Ding. Congratulations Master. Inferior yellow rank profound skill soaring wind steps has successfully broken through to the peak of perfection. Ding. Congratulations Master. Inferior yellow rank profound skill inch force fist has successfully broken through to the peak of perfection. Ding. Detected inferior yellow rank profound skill soaring wind steps has reached perfection. Automatically upgraded to intermediate yellow rank profound skill soaring cloud step. Ding. It has been detected that the low yellow rank profound skill 1-inch punch has reached perfection and has been automatically upgraded to the middle yellow rank profound skill 7 punch. After killing the demonic beast in front of him with a single punch, Jiyu instantly heard a series of system notifications. He couldn't help but freeze in place. Automatically leveled up again. The 999X cultivation system gave him another surprise. In the mysterious heavenly mainland, there was a clear classification of mystical skills. From the weakest to the strongest, they were divided into 4 grades: yellow, mysterious, earth, and heaven. These 4 grades were further divided into 3 levels: lower, middle, and upper. Legend had it that there were even higher level mystical skills above the heaven rank. However, with his current knowledge, he had no way of knowing about them. After all, the highest level mystical skill in the entire ancient city of the rising sun was only a medium profound rank mystical skill. From the looks of it, it won't be long before it can automatically upgrade to a profound rank or even an earth rank profound skill. Jiyu was very excited. The ability of the 999X cultivation system was too awesome. After cutting off the valuable materials from the demonic beast's corpse, Jiyu put them into his storage ring. This is the 40th demonic beast. It's about time for me to go back, Jiyu muttered to himself as he walked out of the demonic beast mountain range. In fact, the storage ring could still hold a lot of things. However, he had to accumulate 1,000 gold coins in the Chaoyang branch in order to qualify for the free alchemy class. Today was the last day, so he had to go back first. Chapter 10. After leaving the demonic beast mountain range, Jiyu sold all the demonic beast materials and obtained a total of 1,300 gold coins. Adding the gold coins he had left from before, he now had 1,400 gold coins. After returning to the Chaoyang branch, he bought 3 bottles of body-tempering pills in the elixir trading area, spending a total of 1,200 gold coins. Jiyu thought for a moment and bought 2 more profound recovery pills. He didn't have much gold coins left. Profound recovery pills were a type of low-grade first-rank elixir. Its effect was to recover Shen Qi. In the demonic beast mountain range, he frequently used Shen Qi and needed to rest for a while to recover his Shen Qi after killing a few demonic beasts. Now that he had mastered a high-grade yellow-rank intermediate-rank Shen skill, the amount of Shen Qi required to use it would be much higher than a low-grade yellow-rank intermediate-rank Shen skill. Therefore, he had to prepare 2 profound recovery pills for emergency use. Mister, you've already spent more than 1,000 gold coins. This is a token. When the alchemy class starts tomorrow afternoon, Mister can bring this token to the class. At this moment, the receptionist he saw last time walked over. She held a token in her hand and handed it to Jiyu. Jiyu took the token and put it in his pocket, then left the Chaoyang branch. This time, Jiyu planned to enter the demonic beast mountain range directly and start using pills to increase his cultivation. The alchemy class would only start tomorrow at the Chaoyang branch. Taking advantage of this time, he planned to continue tempering himself in the demonic beast mountain range. Jiyu walked to the outskirts of the demonic beast mountain range and sat down. He took off the black robe on his head and took out the 3 bottles of body-tempering pills from his storage ring. There were a total of 12 body-tempering pills in the 3 jade bottles. He felt that if he consumed these 12 body-tempering pills, he would be able to fly into the sky. Without thinking, he stuffed one pill after another into his mouth as if he was eating candy. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Your cultivation has successfully broken through to the late stage of the 8th level of the body tempering stage. After continuously consuming 12 body tempering pills, Jiyu's cultivation base directly rose from the middle of the 7th level of the body tempering stage to the late stage of the 8th level of the body tempering stage. He increasingly felt that breaking through cultivation was as easy as eating and drinking tea. As long as he had enough gold coins to buy medicinal pills, he could easily break through. Who told him to have 999 times experience multiplier? After that, Jiyu began to hunt demonic beasts to earn gold coins. However, he had only taken a few steps when he heard the sound of an intense battle not far in front of him. He curiously walked up to take a look and saw a young girl in a pink dress, holding a thin sword and fighting with a huge black bear. This black bear, Jiyu's expression changed slightly. This was a brute force black bear. The brute force black bear was not only extremely powerful, but its speed was also extraordinary. Human martial artists of the same realm would not be able to gain the slightest advantage in front of the brute force black bear. It was one of the more difficult existences to deal with among the rank 1 monster beasts. The brute force black bear in front of him looked like it had just reached adulthood. Its cultivation base was around the 7th level of the rank 1 monster beasts, close to the 8th level of the rank 1 monster beasts. Although the young girl in pink's cultivation had reached the 8th level of the body tempering stage, she was obviously at a disadvantage. She was constantly suppressed by the brute force black bear and was unable to escape. Jiang Yushin resisted the brute force black bear's huge paw with all her might. Her heart was extremely vexed. She felt that her luck was really too bad today. She had just entered the Demon Beast mountain range and she had already encountered such a difficult brute force black bear. It was fine if she couldn't win, but this brute force black bear's speed was extremely fast. She couldn't escape even if she wanted to, so she could only continue to fight with this brute force black bear. However, there wasn't much profound chi left in her body. She would soon die here. With every second that passed, Jiang Yushin became more and more anxious. She didn't want to die in this place. At this moment, she suddenly saw a black figure from the corner of her eyes. She immediately turned her head to look and saw a youth in a black robe standing there. Jiang Yushin instantly seemed to have grabbed onto a life-saving straw. She shouted loudly, "Hey, you over there, quickly come and help me." Chapter 11. The black-robed youth was naturally Jiyu, but he acted as if he didn't hear anything. Not only did he ignore Jiang Yushin, he even turned around and walked away. It wasn't that he was cold-blooded and heartless, but the girl's commanding tone made him feel very uncomfortable. It gave him a strong feeling of superiority. This kind of person was probably some family's rude and unreasonable young lady. Why should he go and save such a thankless person? Seeing that the black-robed youth was about to leave, Jiang Yushin immediately became anxious and shouted, "I am the second young lady of the city lord's manor. My father is the city lord of Chaoyang Ancient City. How dare you not listen to me?" Jiyu couldn't help but laugh. Not only did this girl order him, she even wanted to threaten him. However, he didn't show any signs of turning around. Instead, his footsteps became faster and faster. Jiang Yushin was infuriated by this scene. At this time, the brute force black bear slapped her again, causing her to stagger back a few steps. She finally couldn't hold back her pride and cried out, You bastard, hurry up and save me. I will give you a lot of rewards as long as you save me." Hearing the girl in pink sobbing, Jiyu finally stopped in her tracks. He turned around to look at the girl in pink and asked indifferently, "What rewards?" Originally, he didn't want to bother with this girl, but if this girl could give a suitable reward, he might be able to help. When Jiyu said this, Jiang Yushin almost fainted from anger. At this time, this guy didn't hurry to save her and still had the mood to ask for rewards. However, seeing that the brute force black bear was about to close in again, Jiang Yushin couldn't care less and hurriedly said, 1,000 gold coins, no, 5,000 gold coins. As long as you save me, I will give you 5,000 gold coins. As Jiang Yushin was focused on talking to Jiyu, she didn't notice the bear's paw coming towards her. When she came back to her senses, it was too late. Looking at the huge bear paw in front of her, her eyes were filled with panic and despair. At this moment, she wanted to curse the black-robed youth countless times in her heart. At the same time, the corners of Ji-Yu's mouth curled up slightly. Deal. Before his voice died away, his figure had already disappeared from the spot. In the next moment, he appeared in front of Jiang Yushin and extended a hand to block the brute force black bear's huge paw. Ding. Master used Soaring Cloud Steps. Soaring Cloud Steps experience gained, 50*999 ek. This was Ji-Yu's first time using the intermediate yellow rank Soaring Cloud Steps. The speed of the Soaring Cloud Steps did not disappoint him at all. Jiang Yushin looked at Ji-Yu, who had suddenly appeared in front of her. Her delicate face couldn't help but reveal a trace of shock. This guy's speed was actually so fast. However, she quickly reacted and realized that he actually wanted to block the brute force black bear's attack with his bare hands. She immediately wanted to scold this guy for being an idiot. She originally thought that this guy could save her, but in the end, he was a brainless idiot. He actually dared to fight the brute force black bear with his bare hands. Wasn't this courting death? At the same time, the brute force black bear's face changed slightly. It was as if it wanted to laugh at this human in front of it for overestimating himself. In the next moment, Ji-Yu's palm instantly clenched into a fist. Ding. Master used 7 Strength Fist. 7 Strength Fist experience gained, 50*999 ek. Ji-Yu's thin and small fist collided with the brute force black bear's huge paw, creating a huge contrast. However, the thin and small fist actually pierced through the huge paw, opening a fist-sized hole in the middle of the paw. Blood immediately sputtered out. Ji-Yu's eyes flashed slightly. He quickly used Soaring Cloud Steps to avoid the blood splattering out. Ding. Congratulations, Master. The intermediate yellow rank mystical skill Soaring Cloud Steps has successfully broken through to minor accomplishment. In the blink of an eye, Ji-Yu appeared a few meters away. There wasn't a single trace of blood on his body. Jiang Yushin was standing behind Ji-Yu. After Ji-Yu dodged, the brute force black bear's blood directly splashed onto her body, causing her pink dress to become extremely bright. However, she was already stunned by the scene that just happened. She didn't even realize that her body was covered in blood. She didn't dare to believe what she just saw. This seemingly weak young man actually pierced through the brute force black bear's paw with his bare hands. What kind of terrifying strength was required to do this? If it was her, not to mention her bare hands, even if she used the sword in her hand to slash at the brute force black bear, it would be very difficult to cause any effective damage to the brute force black bear. At most, she would only be able to create a wound that was neither deep nor shallow. Roar, roar, roar. Right at this moment, a furious roar suddenly woke her up. She saw that the brute force black bear in front of her had become extremely berserk. The intense pain caused it to enter a berserk state. Its eyes also became scarlet red. Jiang Yushan temporarily couldn't care about the smell of blood on her body. Her first reaction was to quickly retreat. Right now, she couldn't withstand the attacks of the berserk brute force black bear at all. Ji Yu, who was standing a few meters away, couldn't help but frown. This brute force black bear actually mutated. This isn't going to be good. A berserk wild beast was the most terrifying. Not only did it not know pain, its battle strength also increased greatly. Ji Yu carefully considered for a moment and decided to retreat. This was because he didn't have much confidence in being able to solve this situation. He flashed to Jiang Yuexin's side and grabbed Jiang Yuexin's wrist to escape. Ah! Jiang Yushan suddenly felt her wrist being grabbed by someone and couldn't help but cry out in alarm. Chapter 12. The violent brute force black bear roared as it chased after him. There was only one thought in its mind, and that was to tear the human in front of it into pieces. Seeing the brute force black bear chasing after him, Ji Yu planned to continuously use soaring cloud steps until he completely shook off the brute force black bear. After Ji Yu continuously used soaring cloud steps several times, he finally shook off the brute force black bear completely. At the same time, soaring cloud steps also improved to the mastery realm. He let out a sigh of relief and gradually slowed down his footsteps. He couldn't help but rejoice that soaring cloud steps had broken through to the intermediate realm. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to shake off the brute force black bear so easily. Hurry up and let go of me. At this time, a delicate and angry voice sounded. Ji Yu only felt that something in his hand was forcibly breaking free. It hurts. Jiang Yushan rubbed her reddened wrist. Her eyes were foggy, and she was almost about to cry. She said coquettishly, "Really, you bastard don't know how to be tender to a woman. If I was tender to a woman, you would have died just now." Ji Yu said expressionlessly. I know, you're so inflexible." Jiang Yushan complained. Just as Ji Yu was about to leave, he suddenly thought of something. He immediately stretched out a hand in front of Jiang Yushan. "What are you doing?" Jiang Yushan didn't react for a moment. "Do you even need to ask?" "Of course it's a reward," Ji Yu said indifferently. Reward? At this time, Jiang Yushan finally understood what Ji Yu meant. She lowered her head slightly and asked in a deep voice, "You saved me purely for the reward?" "Yes." Ji Yu only spat out 2 words. At this time, Jiang Yuexin's mood was a little complicated. As the second miss of the city lord's mansion, she had been worshipped since she was young. No one dared to disrespect her. If it had been anyone else, they would have risked their lives to save her in that situation. However, the black-robed youth in front of him had done it purely for the sake of the 5,000 gold coins. Jiang Yushan reckoned that if she hadn't mentioned the reward at that time, this young man would definitely have left without even looking at her. His life was not as valuable as 5,000 gold coins. Jiang Yushan was silent for a while before she said, "I don't like to bring too many things with me when I go out, so I only have 3,000 gold coins on me right now. I can only give you 3,000 gold coins first." As she spoke, she took out a few bags of gold coins from her storage ring. "Sure." Ji Yu kept the bags of gold into her storage ring and continued, "But you have to write me an IOU for the remaining 2,000 gold coins." "You rascal." Jiang Yushan was so angry that her shoulders trembled slightly. She was the dignified second miss of the city lord's mansion. How could she owe a mere 2,000 gold coins? However, she could only comply with the other party's wishes for the time being and write him an IOU. This guy's strength was higher than hers, and this was the monster beast mountain range. She felt that with this guy's character, there was nothing he wouldn't dare to do. Ji Yu took the IOU and glanced at it. When he saw the name Jiang Yushan, he remembered that this girl seemed to have said that she was the second miss of the city lord's mansion before. "You are the second miss of the city lord's mansion, so your sister is the number 1 genius?" Ji Yu asked. Yes, my sister is the #1 genius of martial arts in Chaoyang Ancient City, Jiang Yuchu. Suddenly, Jiang Yushin smiled slyly and said, "What's wrong? You suddenly asked about my sister. Are you interested in her? Do you think it's possible?" Ji Yu's expression didn't change at all, and he said lightly. After that, he turned around and left directly. The reward was about to be paid, so he should leave. Seeing this, Jiang Yushin was stunned at first, then she shouted, "Wait, don't leave so quickly. What else do you want?" Ji Yu looked back at Jiang Yushin and said, "Didn't you see this?" Jiang Yushin instinctively almost said "this lady," but she realized this guy's character and quickly changed her words. "Didn't you see that I have no strength now?" "So?" Ji Yu asked. This bastard, Jiang Yushin was angry and anxious, but she felt very embarrassed to say it directly, so she stammered, So, I want you to take me out of here." This was the first time that she took the initiative to ask for help from others, and she had never been treated like this before. It was really annoying. "Sorry, I don't want to take a burden, and I don't plan to leave the Monster Beast mountain range so early." After that, Ji Yu ignored Jiang Yushin and walked forward by himself. Jiang Yushin was so angry that she stamped her feet. This bastard was so ungentlemanly. She had already asked for so much, but this bastard not only didn't help, but also said that she was a burden. But although she was angry, Jiang Yushin still didn't want to die in this place, so she could only follow Ji Yu silently. There was almost no chi left in her body now, and she could lose her life if she met any monster, so she had no choice but to follow this bastard. She didn't stay idle, and kept cursing this bastard behind Ji Yu. Chapter 13. Ji Yu had long noticed that Jiang Yushin was shamelessly following behind him, but he still completely ignored her and focused on hunting the demonic beasts. Soon, they encountered a first-grade 6-stage demonic snake, but it was instantly killed by Ji Yu with a single punch. Ding! Master used 7 Strength Fist. 7 Strength Fist obtained experience, 50*999 ek. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The yellow rank intermediate profound skill 7 Strength Fist has successfully broken through to initial success. Once again witnessing a demonic beast being killed by Ji Yu's bare hands, Jiang Yushin still felt extremely shocked. She felt that this guy either had a powerful physical strength, or he knew some kind of powerful fist technique. At the same time, she was very curious about this guy's cultivation. "How high is your cultivation?" Jiang Yushin couldn't help but ask. "Just a little higher than yours." Ji Yu glanced at Jiang Yushin and said indifferently. Hearing Ji Yu's reply, Jiang Yushin guessed that this guy must be a genius from some family, but she had never heard of a genius from a family with such a rigid personality. Ji Yu continued to look for demonic beasts to kill, while Jiang Yushin silently followed behind him. After that, another 7 Strength Fist killed a demonic beast. Ji Yu felt that the Xian Qi in his body had already dried up. He immediately sat on a rock, took out a Xian Qi pill from his storage ring, and stuffed it into his mouth. Ding! Master has consumed an inferior grade first-grade pill Xian Qi pill. The Xian Qi recovery effect has increased by 999 times. The recovery effect of the Xian Qi recovery effect was actually increased by 999 times. This was out of Ji Yu's expectations. He only felt that the Xian Qi in his body had instantly recovered to its peak state. "Did you just eat a Xian Qi pill?" At this time, Jiang Yushin came over and asked. Seeing the hope in Jiang Yushin's eyes, Ji Yu vaguely had a bad premonition. "This has nothing to do with you. You must have more Xian Qi pills. Can you give me one?" Ji Yu didn't answer, but Jiang Yushin directly insisted that it was a Xian Qi pill. "No, I only have 1 Xian Qi pill left. How can I give it to you?" Ji Yu somewhat helplessly shook his head. "Tch, stingy." Jiang Yushin snorted and stopped pestering him about the profound returning pill. She knew that it was useless to continue pestering this guy. Ding! Congratulations, Master, for successfully breaking through to the mastery level of the intermediate yellow rank 7 Strength Fist. Along the way, Ji Yu relied on the 7 Strength Fist to kill many demonic beasts, and the 7 Strength Fist gradually broke through to the next realm. Jiang Yushin saw Ji Yu cut off the materials of the demonic beast's corpse every time he killed one. She couldn't help but ask, "Do you keep killing demonic beasts to earn gold coins?" "Yes." Ji Yu nodded. "Which family are you from? What's your name?" Jiang Yushin asked. "Lin family, a nobody," Ji Yu casually said. He basically had no scruples now, and there was nothing to hide. "Lin family, and what do you mean by a nobody?" Jiang Yushin naturally knew of the Lin family, one of the three great families, but she couldn't understand why he called himself a nobody. Her martial arts talent was one of the best in Chaoyang Ancient City, and this guy was obviously much stronger than her, but he called himself a nobody. Then what was she? "It's the literal meaning," Ji Yu said indifferently. "Forget it, I guess you just don't want to say it." Jiang Yushin didn't ask anymore. Ji Yu only took a few steps before he said to Jiang Yushin, "Say, how long are you going to stay with me?" "I'm going to spend the night here." "Huh? You're going to spend the night here?" Jiang Yushin was shocked. She had endured long enough, and the smell of blood made her feel very uncomfortable. This guy actually planned to spend the night here? Suddenly, Jiang Yushin had an idea and said, "Wait, don't you still have a mystic recovery pill? Give me that mystic recovery pill, and I'll give you this." She took out an incense burner from her storage ring and gently placed it on the ground. "What is this?" Looking at the incense burner, Ji Yu asked curiously. "This is a special incense burner. It can attract nearby demon beasts by relying on internal qi, but it can only be used once. What do you think?" Jiang Yushin explained. This incense burner was naturally brought out by her from the mansion, and its value was not particularly expensive. Although the value of the mystic recovery pill was far less than this incense burner, the mystic recovery pill could give her the power to protect herself, but the incense burner couldn't. Now that she was in a hurry, she had to reluctantly give up this incense burner. "Deal." Ji Yu immediately took out the remaining mystic recovery pill from her storage ring and exchanged it with Jiang Yushin. Jiang Yushin didn't say anything, directly swallowed the mystic recovery pill, and sat down with her eyes closed. She just wanted to recover her internal qi as soon as possible and leave the Demon Beast mountain range. After half an hour, Jiang Yushin slowly opened her eyes, and the internal qi in her body had recovered by more than half. However, at this time, she found that the black-robed youth had left at some point. Recalling the black-robed youth's attitude towards her, Jiang Yushin couldn't help but lightly clench her teeth. "This bastard, this young lady will definitely find you, and when the time comes, I'll let my sister take care of you, humph." Chapter 14. The next morning, in the Demonic Beast mountain range. Ji Yu had been hunting demonic beasts in the outskirts of the Demonic Beast mountain range and had killed quite a few demonic beasts overnight. "The alchemy class is in the afternoon, let's go back now." Ji Yu left the Demonic Beast mountain range on foot and returned to the Chaoyang branch. "Ding. Congratulations, Master. The mid-yellow rank profound skill soaring cloud steps has successfully broken through to the perfection stage." Ji Yu's soaring cloud steps had also broken through to the perfection stage by the time he reached the Chaoyang branch. As long as it broke through again, the mid-yellow rank soaring cloud steps would be able to upgrade to a high yellow rank profound skill. Just as he entered the hall, the female receptionist from before came to greet him. Under the lead of the female receptionist, Ji Yu arrived at a spacious classroom. At this time, there were already quite a few people sitting in the classroom. These were all young men and women dressed luxuriously, most likely young masters and young mistresses of some power. Ji Yu walked in wearing a black robe. Even if he didn't deliberately hide his face, he still attracted quite a few people's attention. After all, his dressing was still a bit strange. He casually glanced at the people around him, thinking that there were definitely people from the Chen clan among them. But he didn't care, because with his current strength, no one under the defensive profound realm could compare to him. Even if Chen Yang was present, he wouldn't be able to do anything to him. Then, Ji Yu casually found an empty seat under the podium and sat down, waiting for the alchemy class to begin. Not long after, the classroom gradually became noisy, as if some big shot had appeared. "Isn't that the young master of the Lin family, Lin Chitian? He's also interested in alchemy? How is that possible? Don't you know that young Master Lin is interested in Yu Shuyun? He must be here for Yu Shuyun." "That's right, Lin Chitian is the #1 martial arts genius of the Lin family. He wouldn't waste time learning alchemy. This time, it just so happens that young Mistress Yu Shuyun is personally teaching, so he's here. Ji Yu also recognized this Lin Chitian. After all, he had worked as a handyman for the Lin family for a year. There was no way he hadn't heard of who the young master of the Lin family was. This person had outstanding talent and was one of the best in the entire Chaoyang ancient city. It was said that his current martial cultivation was almost the same as Chen Yang's. They were both at body tempering stage 9 perfection and were one step away from entering the defensive profound realm. Lin Chitian acted like he was superior to everyone else. He didn't even look at anyone as if they weren't qualified to be looked at by him. Seeing Lin Chitian's expression, Ji Yu shook his head. At first, he thought that it was some kind of big shot, but in the end, it was just like that. But for some reason, Lin Chitian walked straight towards him. "Kid, this position belongs to this young master." Hearing Lin Chitian's order, Ji Yu frowned. What's wrong with this guy? Ji Yu suddenly felt a little baffled. She was sitting here perfectly fine, so why did Lin Chiyun come to find trouble with her? This young master will say it again, this position belongs to this young master. This time, Lin Chitian's tone wasn't just an order, but also a threat. It was as if Ji Yu didn't move away, he wouldn't be polite to Ji Yu. Seeing this happen, the surrounding people began to whisper to each other. This guy is really pitiful. Coincidentally or not, he's sitting in the seat under the podium. Yeah, that's the first row, right under the podium. Lin Chitian definitely won't let go of that seat for Yu Shuyun. This guy still hasn't moved away. Lin Chitian's methods are not a joke. Many people began to mourn for Ji Yu. However, Ji Yu didn't have the slightest fear. She coldly looked at Lin Chitian and smiled. What if I don't? As soon as Ji Yu's words came out, there was an uproar. This guy actually dares to provoke Lin Chitian. I originally felt some sympathy for him, but I didn't expect him to be an idiot. This kid is finished. He dares to offend the young master of the Lin family. I'm afraid his entire family will be wiped out. In Chaoyang ancient city, there aren't many who dare to talk to Lin Chitian like that. This kid really isn't afraid of death. Lin Chitian's eyes turned cold. Kid, you're courting death. You can try and see if I'm courting death or not. Ji Yu didn't back down at all. He was now alone and had no worries. Although he had a high status in the Lin family, it didn't affect him much. He already offended a young master of the Chen family, Chen Yang, so he didn't mind offending another Lin Chitian. One more wouldn't be too much, one less wouldn't be too little. Lin Chitian's expression became more and more gloomy. However, just as he was about to let this kid have a taste of his own medicine, a cold voice suddenly came from outside the door. Silence. Following this voice, the crowd quieted down. Even the sound of breathing could be heard. The person who came was a beautiful woman in a white dress. It was the Yu Shuyun that Ji Yu saw last time. Chapter 15. As the #1 genius of alchemy, Yu Shuyun was now a rank 2 alchemist. Her status in Chaoyang ancient city was extremely high. No one dared to act rashly in front of Yu Shuyun, so everyone was very obedient. Even Lin Chitian, upon seeing that it was Yu Shuyun, had no choice but to find another seat with a displeased expression. Yu Shuyun slowly walked to the podium and her beautiful eyes quickly swept across everyone. She then opened her mouth and said, "Since everyone is here, then the alchemy class will begin immediately. Today's alchemy class will first talk about the basics of alchemy, then we'll try alchemy practice at the end." Everyone present listened to Yu Shuyun's speech quietly. There was almost no noise at all. Hearing that there was no more noise in the hall, Yu Shuyun nodded slightly and continued, "I'm sure most of you have very little contact with alchemy, so I'll start with the most basic things. To become a true alchemist, other than having a strong soul force, you also need to have a high enough talent in alchemy. These are all innate, and it's very difficult to improve through training. I hope everyone understands this point. Next, I'll talk about alchemy. Alchemy is refining pills, and you need to have Xian Qi, fire seed, materials, container, and soul force. These 5 things can be said to be indispensable, At this moment, Ji was also seriously listening to the class. Whether or not he could become an alchemist, it was always better to try. Suddenly, a system notification sounded in his mind. Ding! Master has listened to alchemy class for 1 minute. Alchemy attainment gained experience, 1 by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations Master, alchemy attainment has successfully broken through to rank 1 alchemist. Jiyu's face was filled with disbelief. He had just listened to an alchemy class and he had become a rank 1 alchemist. At the same time, he felt a large amount of alchemy knowledge enter his mind. He also felt that his soul force had increased. He was shocked again. One had to know that soul force was innate, and it was very difficult to improve it through training. Right now, he only listened to a minute of alchemy class and his soul force increased. Without a doubt, he should now have the alchemy attainment of a rank 1 alchemist. Jiyu suppressed the excitement in his heart with difficulty and focused more on the alchemy class. If he continued to listen, he would be able to get stronger. At the same time, Yu Shuyun was also teaching. Let's talk about Shen Qi first. Every martial cultivator has Shen Qi in their body, and alchemy is a very delicate job. Normally, it takes a long time to slowly refine pills. At the same time, alchemy requires Shen Qi to be activated. The entire process consumes a large amount of Shen Qi, so martial cultivation is very important to an alchemist. Alchemy, alchemists. But there are some special alchemy alchemists. Alchemy. The materials were all kinds of heavenly treasures. If one wanted to concoct pills, one naturally had to prepare the materials needed to concoct pills. Containers are alchemy furnaces, alchemy cauldrons, and the like. You can use whatever you want. It depends on your habits. There is also soul force. Everyone is born with soul force. The strength varies from person to person. It is very difficult to increase one's soul force. I won't explain it here. The specific use of soul force is to identify materials, control the temperature, control the timing of alchemy, and so on. Control of the temperature must be appropriate. If the temperature is too high, all the materials will be wasted. If the temperature is too low, it will make it difficult to condense the pill. Controlling the timing of alchemy is also the same. The timing must be controlled accurately, otherwise, it will cause a series of problems. Whether it is the control of the temperature or the timing of alchemy, it will affect the success or failure of the alchemy. And these all need to be controlled by soul force. This most basic knowledge has been explained. Next, I will explain to you the various types of alchemy and materials. Yu Shuyun's speech was not fast. Everyone present could hear it clearly. Most of the people were listening very seriously. After all, listening to a beauty's lecture was a different kind of enjoyment. Jiyu was also very focused. Every minute, there would be a system notification sound in his mind. Ding! Master has listened to alchemy class for 1 minute. Alchemy attainments gained experience, 1 by 999 times. Ding! Master has listened to alchemy class for 1 minute. Alchemy attainments gained experience, 1 by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations Master, alchemy attainments has successfully broken through to become an intermediate grade 1 alchemist. Time slowly passed. Jiyu gradually rose from an inferior grade 1 alchemist to an intermediate grade 1 alchemist. This efficiency was simply too good. His eyes were filled with joy. In the past, he never dared to imagine that he could directly become an intermediate grade 1 alchemist after listening to a few minutes of alchemy class. Feeling a large amount of knowledge entering his mind and the increase in his soul force, Jiyu could be sure that everything that was happening was real. Alchemists were clearly divided into grades. From the lowest to the highest, they were divided into grades 1 to 9. There were also 3 grades: inferior, intermediate, and superior. He estimated that it would not be long before he could be promoted to an inferior grade 2 alchemist. On the stage, Yu Shuyun, who was known as the #1 alchemist in Chaoyang Ancient City, was said to be only an intermediate grade 2 alchemist. Chapter 16. The basic alchemy knowledge lesson has ended. The last part is alchemy practice. I will personally demonstrate the alchemy process for all of you. As Yu Shuyun spoke, she waved her hand and a cauldron appeared on the stage out of thin air. Following that, there were many alchemy materials. Ji Yu knew that Yu Shuyun took these things out from her storage ring. Now, I will demonstrate the alchemy process for the gradeless strength pill. As Yu Shuyun refined the pill, she explained in detail to everyone. The first step is to start a fire and warm the cauldron. When the temperature of the cauldron is raised to a certain level, we can begin the second step. The second step is to put the materials needed to refine the strength pill into the cauldron. The third step is to control the temperature of the fire. I have just said the importance of controlling the temperature of the fire. It must be controlled properly. The materials in the cauldron will gradually turn into liquid pills. When all the materials have completely turned into liquid pills, the pills can be condensed. The fourth and final step is to control the timing of the pill condensation. The timing must be precise and not the slightest bit of carelessness. When Yu Shuyun finished explaining the entire alchemy process, she had also successfully refined a cauldron of strength pills. At this moment, there was a soft exclamation from below the stage. Miss Yu Shuyun is indeed the #1 genius in alchemy. Her alchemy skills are so skillful. She is simply comparable to those veteran alchemists. A gradeless pill like this is a piece of cake for her. In just 2 to 3 minutes, a cauldron of strength pills was refined. It's really amazing. How good would it be if I could have Miss Yu Shuyun's alchemy skills? Phut, you can continue daydreaming. You will never be able to reach Miss Yu's current level in this lifetime. Even Ji Yu was surprised. However, what surprised him was not Yu Shuyun's alchemy skills, but the sound from the system. Ding. Master has watched an alchemist refine pills for 1 minute. Alchemy attainment gained experience, 1 by 999 times. Ding. Owner has watched an alchemist refine pills for 1 minute. Experience gained in alchemy attainment, 1 by 999 times. Who would have thought that other than listening to lectures, watching others concoct pills would also give him 999 times experience enhancement? This ability was too heaven-defying. Ji Yu felt that she would soon be able to break through and become a superior grade 1 alchemist. It was a pity that Yu Shuyun was able to refine the energy dance so quickly. At the same time, Yu Shuyun opened her mouth and said, I have just demonstrated the entire pill refining process. In conclusion, the first step of heating the furnace and the second step of putting in the ingredients are the easiest. However, the third step of controlling the temperature of the fire and the fourth step of condensing the pill are very difficult. Now, who is willing to come up and try refining pills? Me. Ji Yu raised her hand. In fact, he didn't fight for it at all. It was because the others were hesitating that he became the first to volunteer. As soon as he said that, everyone's eyes fell on him. Isn't this the kid who had a conflict with Lin Chitian just now? It's really him. He didn't even hesitate and wanted to be the first to try. It seems like he's really a hothead. I feel that his brain isn't working well. Could it be that he saw Miss Yu successfully refining the energy dance so easily and thought that this pill is easy to refine? That's right. Anyway, he will probably come down in less than a minute after going up. It won't take much time. Lin Chitian listened to the mocking and ridiculing voices directed at Ji Yu from all around, making him feel very comfortable. He looked at Ji Yu with a mocking smile and mocked, I think you better not go up and waste your time. The energy dan isn't something that a trash layman like you can refine. Although he had never come into contact with alchemy, he still knew how difficult it was to refine pills. Even if it was just an ungraded energy dan, it wasn't something that ordinary people could refine, let alone this poor country bumpkin. Are you so sure that I don't know how to refine pills? Ji Yu stood up and glanced at Lin Chitian, who was sitting on the right, and said indifferently. Lin Chitian was slightly stunned and couldn't help but laugh. Ha ha ha, you can't be saying that you know how to refine pills, right? Not only Lin Chitian, but many people around also laughed. A little brat dares to say that he knows how to refine pills. Is he here to be a joke? This brat is probably an idiot sent by the Chaoyang branch to ease the atmosphere. I'm dying of laughter. I think this brat isn't an idiot, but a retard. Ha ha ha. Hearing the mocking laughter coming from all around, Ji suddenly felt quite speechless. He was too lazy to continue wasting his breath with these guys. Quiet. At this time, Shuyun's cold and pleasant voice came and everyone immediately shut their mouths. Even if they couldn't speak, they all looked at Ji with mocking eyes. These gazes were like sharp knives stabbing Ji. Chapter 17. After climbing up the stairs, Ji stood beside Shuyun. The ingredients are on the table. Take a set and you can start refining the energy pill. Shuyun said in a friendly tone. Compared to those fellows below the stage who only knew how to talk, she thought more highly of this young man who volunteered. Although this young man basically had no chance of success, at least he had the courage to try refining the pill. She planned to pay close attention to this young man's refining process later so that she could give the best suggestions and help this young man. Ji didn't know what Shuyun was thinking. At this moment, he had already taken a set of ingredients to the furnace and was preparing to refine the energy pill. Following the steps Shuyun demonstrated earlier, combined with the alchemy knowledge in his mind, he naturally started to warm the furnace. Ding! It has been detected that the owner has started to refine the gradeless energy pill. The success rate has increased by 999 times. Ji was stunned. 999 times the success rate? After a while, he finally reacted. Did this mean that his success rate of refining the energy pill had increased by 999 times? Ji couldn't believe what he heard. If the success rate of 999 times was real, then there was no possibility of him failing. From the beginning until now, the system had never lied to him. This time, the success rate of 999 times should be real too. He already had the alchemy skills of an intermediate grade 1 alchemist. In addition, the success rate had increased by 999 times. No matter what, there was no possibility of him failing. The more Ji thought about it, the more excited he got. He didn't have any psychological pressure when refining the pill. Now, he was very casual. When he felt that the temperature of the furnace was about right, he casually threw the ingredients into the furnace. Seeing this, Shuyun frowned slightly. Throwing the ingredients casually like this, wasn't he afraid of causing some negative effects? After that, Ji started to control the temperature of the furnace. With the soul power of a medium grade 1 alchemist, this kind of ungraded energy origin pill was not a problem for him at all. He could easily control the flame to the most suitable state. Seeing this, Shuyun's beautiful eyes showed a slight change. As a second-grade intermediate alchemist, she could naturally see that this young man had controlled the flame to an almost perfect state. Was this luck? Or strength? Compared to the latter, Shuyun felt that the former was more likely. If it was really luck, then it could be explained. It was not possible to rely purely on strength. If it was purely based on strength, one would need to be at least a level 1 alchemist or even a level 1 alchemist to achieve this level. She didn't believe that this young man had the ability to refine pills above the level of a grade 1 intermediate alchemist. Ji didn't notice that she had attracted Shuyun's attention. She was still focused on refining pills. After a while, he successfully refined all the ingredients into liquid pills. The moment the ingredients completely turned into liquid pills, he suddenly made a pill condensing hand seal. This pill condensing hand seal was provided by the system when he broke through to become a grade 1 alchemist. It didn't seem to have a grade. It was just a very ordinary pill condensing hand seal. Immediately, an energy origin pill was successfully refined by Ji. Following that, a system notification sounded. Ding! Master has successfully refined an energy origin pill. Alchemy attainment obtained experience points, 10 by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations Master, alchemy attainment has successfully broken through to become a level 1 alchemist. Ding! It has been detected that Master's refinement of pills has no grade. The energy origin pill is complete. The success rate of refining pills has returned to normal. A familiar feeling came. Ji felt that his alchemy level, soul power, and other aspects had improved by leaps and bounds. According to this efficiency, He estimated that he would be able to break through to become a grade 2 alchemist after refining a few more pills. At the same time, a fragrance filled the classroom. After smelling this fragrance, the young men and women in the classroom reacted and were shocked. This fragrance. It's the same as the one that Yu Shuyun gave out just now. This means that. This is impossible. That kid actually refined the energy origin pill successfully. How long has it been? Could it be that a gradeless pill is really so easy to refine? I'm going to try it later. I think so too. I think it's because the gradeless energy origin pill is easier to refine. That's why that kid could refine it so easily. These people were not willing to believe that this was Ji-Yu's real strength. Instead, they all thought that it was because the energy origin pill was easier to refine. Not only that, but Lin Chitian also thought so. He originally thought that he was going to lose face and was panicking. However, after hearing other people's doubts about the energy origin pill, he immediately calmed down. In the entire classroom, only Yu Shuyun's expression became serious. The performance of this young man in front of her had far exceeded her expectations. Previously, when he controlled the fire, it could still be explained by luck. Now that he had refined the energy origin pill, it couldn't be luck anymore. Because no matter how good his luck was, it was impossible for an ordinary person to refine a pill successfully. This young man's alchemy level was definitely not ordinary. Yu Shuyun gradually started to value Ji-Yu. She planned to find a chance later to test this black-robed young man's alchemy level. At the same time, she also felt that this alchemy class had become interesting. A young man who was looked down upon by everyone actually had an extraordinary alchemy level. A faint arc appeared on her lips as she looked forward to how things would develop next. Chapter 18. I want to give it a try. Me too. It's such a simple energy pill. How can I be left out? A bunch of people were fighting to go up and try to perform in front of Yu Shuyun. Even that hothead could easily refine the energy pill, so they would definitely be able to do better. Ji-Yu shook her head and smiled when she saw these people distorting the truth. A young man went up to try first. He looked very confident, as if he had accumulated a lot of basic knowledge. The first 2 steps were fine when he started to warm the furnace and put in the materials. However, when it came to the 3rd step of controlling the fire, the furnace exploded in a short while. The young man was dumbfounded. Wasn't the energy pill easy to refine? Not only that, but the group of people below the stage were also stunned. However, there were still many people who didn't believe it and went up to try one after another. In the end, they all failed in various ways. This time, they finally woke up and looked at Ji-Yu in disbelief. Only Lin Chitian was still unwilling to believe it. He lowered his head with a gloomy expression and felt that his brain was trembling. These people must be too trashy and that's why they all failed. The energy pill was still very easy. That's right, that must be it. At this moment, Yu Shuyun asked, "Is there anyone else who wants to go up and try?" After waiting for a while, no one made a sound. They knew very well that they would be completely embarrassed if they went up now. Since no one wants to go up, then forget it. However, there's still some time left. Are you willing to challenge a higher level pill? While speaking, Yu Shuyun shifted her gaze to Ji-Yu who was standing at the side. Then I'll try to refine a first-class pill. Ji-Yu thought for a moment and nodded. As soon as she said that, everyone was shocked. F***CK, did I hear wrongly? He actually wants to refine a first-class pill? A superior grade 1 medicinal pill, that's a medicinal pill that can only be refined by a superior grade 1 alchemist. Is this guy crazy? Damn, he just refined an energy pill that doesn't even have a grade. How dare he try to refine a first-class pill? This guy is too arrogant. Even though Ji-Yu had easily refined the energy pill earlier, no one thought that he had the ability to challenge the superior grade elixir. This was because the difference between a gradeless elixir and a superior grade elixir was not small at all. Some people were able to refine gradeless pills, but they were unable to refine gradeless pills. They were unable to become a real alchemist with status. From this, it could be seen how huge the gap between a gradeless pill and a low-grade pill was. let alone a high-grade pill that was 2 grades higher than a low-grade pill. Lin Chitian, on the other hand, was overjoyed. Luckily, this brat didn't know the immensity of the heavens and earth, actually daring to challenge a high-grade pill. In the end, this brat would definitely lose. In that case, not only would he not be slapped in the face, he would also be able to properly mock this brat. Only Yu Shuyun's expression did not change. She already had a premonition that this young man had the ability to refine a first-class alchemist. She was not surprised that he would challenge a first-class superior grade elixir. Yu Shuyun did not have the slightest intention of looking down on Ji Yu. Instead, she was looking forward to seeing if Ji Yu could really refine a first-class superior grade elixir. However, she did not reveal her emotions. "Alright, then I'll let you try the Qing Xian pill." Yu Shuyun waved her hand and a pile of materials appeared out of thin air. There are a total of 3 sets of materials. If you successfully refine a Qing Xian pill, I can directly apply to the Chaoyang branch to let you become a first-class alchemist. Ji Yu completely ignored the group of people below the stage and nodded slightly at Yu Shuyun. "I understand." This woman's attitude and tone made him feel a little surprised. However, he did not think too much about it and directly started to refine the pill. After he started a fire and put in the materials, a system notification suddenly sounded. Ding! Detected that the owner has started to refine the first-class superior grade elixir Qing Xian pill. The success rate has increased by 999 times. Ji Yu could not help but be surprised. He originally just wanted to test his alchemy skills. He did not expect to get 999 times success rate under such circumstances. He could not help but think if he could refine a second-class or third-class elixir, would he be able to get 999 times success rate? With a 999 times success rate, Ji Yu immediately became more confident. Then, he started to control the fire with his soul power. The first-class Qing Xian pill was indeed many times more difficult to refine than the strength origin pill. He had to control the fire carefully. Otherwise, the 999 times success rate would not help him. This was because if there was a problem with the fire, the success rate of refining the Qing Xian pill would be 0. Wouldn't it still be 0? In the next half an hour, Ji Yu had been controlling the fire. The speed of the materials turning into liquid was very slow. What's going on? Why hasn't this kid's furnace exploded yet? I think he's controlling the fire very low and is slowly burning the materials. This way, he won't be able to finish it by tomorrow. He's just wasting our time. There's no hope of success at all. I'm speechless. Many people below the stage were already impatient and started to complain softly. Ji Yu did not care about anyone's complaints at all. He was fully focused on the alchemy furnace. After a few minutes, he finally felt that the materials in the alchemy furnace had all turned into liquid. He immediately made a hand seal to condense the liquid into a pill. Then, a Qing Xian pill was successfully condensed. Ding! Master has successfully refined a first-class superior grade elixir Qing Xian pill. Alchemy attainment gained experience, 100 by 999 times. At the same time, many people below the stage instantly smelled a strong pill fragrance. At this moment, they were completely dumbfounded. Chapter 19. Everyone in the audience was so shocked that they couldn't even close their jaws as they looked at Ji Yu in a daze. They only felt a great shock in their hearts as their minds went blank and they couldn't say a word. Especially Lin Chitian, his eyes were full of disbelief as he shook his head in a daze. He murmured, "Impossible, this is impossible." Even Yu Shuyun was a little surprised. Although she had a hunch that this young man might be able to pass the challenge, but that speed just now was still beyond her expectations. Generally, it would take more than an hour for a top grade 1 alchemist to refine a top grade 1 pill, but this young man only used half an hour to successfully refine it. This speed surpassed most of the top grade 1 alchemists. If it was when she was still a top grade 1 alchemist, she would be ashamed of her inferiority to this young man in the same realm. Ji Yu took out the successfully refined Azure Profound pill from the alchemy furnace. Just as he was about to take this Azure Profound pill to Yu Shuyun for inspection, Yu Shuyun spoke first. You don't need to let me look at it, you have already completed the challenge, so this azure profound pill is yours, and the remaining 2 materials are also for you. Thank you. Ji Yu thanked her. This azure profound pill and the remaining 2 materials could be said to be a generous gift. They were truly worth 1,000 gold. Originally, these things should be returned to Yu Shuyun. After all, these things originally belonged to Yu Shuyun, but now Yu Shuyun gave them to him for free. Such a generous gift, how could he not be grateful? No need to be so polite. I will soon help you apply for a top grade 1 alchemist's identity. Come with me later. Yu Shuyun said. Yes. Ji Yu nodded. Today's alchemy class is over, everyone can disperse. Yu Shuyun said lightly, then got up and left the classroom. Ji Yu immediately followed. The rest of the people were still sitting there in a daze. Obviously they haven't recovered from the shock just now. Ji Yu silently followed behind Yu Shuyun. Not long after, he followed Yu Shuyun into a room. This room looked like it was used to receive guests. Yu Shuyun flicked her sleeves and elegantly sat down. She stretched out her hand and said, "Sit as you please." Okay. Ji Yu was not too reserved and casually sat on a chair. Please tell me your name and age. When I help you apply for the alchemist's identity, I will need it. Yu Shuyun talk. She went straight to the point. Ji Yu, 16 years old. Ji Yu's answer. Ji Yu? For a short moment, Yu Shuyun's name. However, she realized that she had no impression of the name Ji Yu at all, which meant that she had never heard of this name before. Not only that, she had never heard of a family with the surname Ji. In the next moment, she determined that the name Ji Yu was a fake name. Yu Shuyun believed that the youth in front of her deliberately used a fake name, not wanting to reveal his real name. In her opinion, this youth was only 16 years old, but he already had the skills of a first-grade alchemist. It was impossible for him to be a lone martial artist. Talent was important, but the power he belonged to was also very important. If a genius only had talent but didn't have a power to discover this genius, then this genius could only become a commoner. Yu Shuyun deeply understood this point, so she determined that this youth had used a fake name. Yu Shuyun would never have thought that not only was Ji Yu's real name, but he also didn't have any power behind him. At this time, Ji Yu didn't know what Yu Shuyun was thinking. She only heard him ask, then, "Does Miss Yu have anything else to say?" Yu Shuyun said without changing her expression, "I want to know when you started to learn alchemy. Is it convenient for you to tell me?" About a year ago. Ji Yu didn't think too much and casually made up a lie. If he said that he had only started to learn alchemy today, it would be too much of a lie. No one would believe him. He couldn't possibly reveal the system, right? So he could only casually make up a lie. Only a year. Yu Shuyun was slightly surprised, but then she praised, "Your talent in alchemy is very good. You've only been learning alchemy for a year, but you've already reached the level of a first-grade alchemist." "Miss Yu is too kind," Ji Yu said modestly. In fact, he really wanted to curse in his heart. How could this be considered good talent? Then I hope you can reach the level of a second-grade alchemist as soon as possible. When the time comes, I have a very important matter to ask of you. Yu Shuyun's tone suddenly became a little solemn. Then she added, "Of course, I won't be stingy in terms of remuneration. We'll talk about it when you become a second-grade alchemist." Although he was a little confused, Ji Yu still nodded. The other party had already given him a lot of benefits. As long as it was something he could do, he didn't mind helping. Moreover, the other party also said that he would be rewarded when the time came. Then it's settled. From tomorrow onwards, you'll have a real identity as a first-grade alchemist. When the time comes, you must remember to come to the Chaoyang branch to get your alchemist badge. That's a symbol of your identity. Yu Shuyun said. "Sorry to trouble you, Miss Yu. I'll take my leave first." There was nothing else, so Ji Yu left the room. Looking at Ji Yu's back as he left, Yu Shuyun's beautiful eyes flickered a little. Chapter 20. In Chaoyang Ancient City, in front of the Lin family's gate, a luxurious carriage slowly approached. "Second miss, we have arrived at the Lin family's gate." The driver seemed to be talking to the person in the carriage. A small head popped out of the carriage and looked around. This person was the second miss of the mayor's mansion, Jiang Yushin. At the same time, in the Lin family's meeting hall. What did you say? The second miss of the mayor's mansion came to our Lin family? A middle-aged man with an extraordinary temperament exclaimed. It's true, master. The person on the other side was an old servant. That middle-aged man was obviously the current master of the Lin family, Lin Zhanshan. After hearing the old servant's words, Lin Zhanshan fell into deep thought. Why did the second miss of the mayor's mansion, who had never visited the Lin family before, suddenly come today? Did something happen? At the moment, Lin Zhanshan couldn't care too much. He immediately instructed the old servant, quickly send someone to prepare. I will personally go and welcome Miss Jiang. Yes. The old servant obeyed and left. Lin Zhanshan also quickly walked out of the meeting hall. The second miss of the mayor's mansion actually came to the Lin family. This was a very big deal. Although the Lin family was one of the three great families in Chaoyang ancient city, there was another power that had a transcendent status, and that was the mayor's mansion. The mayor's mansion controlled the entire Chaoyang ancient city, and the Lin family didn't dare to offend them. Otherwise, why would the master of the Lin family personally come out to welcome a little girl? Soon, Lin Zhanshan arrived in front of the gate. He looked at Jiang Yushin, who was walking down from the carriage, and said with a flattering smile, Miss Jiang, why did you suddenly come to my Lin family today? You are the master of the Lin family, Lin Zhantian? Jiang Yushin didn't hold back at all. That's me. Lin Zhanshan maintained his smile. Although the other party didn't give him face, he didn't dare to complain. I came to the Lin family today to see someone. Jiang Yushin said calmly, but there was a hint of arrogance in her eyes. Lin Zhanshan was slightly stunned. He did not expect Jiang Yushin to come here to look for someone. He then asked, who does Miss Jiang want to see? Jiang Yushin thought for a moment, then replied, who is the number one martial arts genius of the Lin family? He's the person I'm looking for. The number one genius of our Lin family? Miss Jiang is referring to my son, Lin Chitian? Lin Zhanshan asked in shock. Yes, it should be him. Jiang Yushin nodded without hesitation. She thought for a moment. With that bastard's strength, he was definitely the number one martial arts genius in the Lin family. But the name Lin Chitian didn't sound good to her. Lin Zhanshan was delighted. Miss, please come to the Lin family first. My son, Lin Chitian, went out and hasn't returned yet, but he should be back soon. The second miss of the mayor's mansion wanted to see his son, Lin Chitian. This was good news for the Lin family. In his opinion, this Miss Jiang must have taken a fancy to Lin Chitian's talent and was interested in him, so she came to see him. If Lin Chitian and this Miss Jiang could be a couple, the Lin family would be able to climb up the mountain of the mayor's mansion. Then, the Lin family would be able to soar to the top. Okay. Jiang Yushin followed Lin Zhanshan into the Lin family mansion. There were several guards in black following behind her. Chapter 21. Not long after Jiang Yushin entered the Lin mansion, Ji Yu returned to the Lin mansion. However, he did not see Jiang Yushin and walked straight to his residence. Although he had offended the Lin family's young master, Lin Chitian, he did not take Lin Chitian seriously and continued to come and go as he pleased. After a long time, Ji Yu arrived at his residence. Once he entered the room, he sat on the bed and took out a primary strength pill and an azure mystic pill from his storage ring. He could not wait to eat the azure mystic pill. He was looking forward to how much this first-grade pill would increase his cultivation base. However, Ji Yu still planned to eat the ungraded energy pill first as an appetizer before eating the main event, the azure mystic pill. After eating the primary strength pill, Ji Yu did not feel any obvious increase in his cultivation base. This was because his current cultivation base was higher, so the primary strength pill that did not even have a grade would not have much effect on him. However, he did not pay much attention to it. After all, the primary strength pill was only an appetizer. The azure mystic pill was the main dish. Ding. Master has consumed a Qing Xian pill, martial arts cultivation experience gained, 3000 by 999 times. Ding. Congratulations, Master. Martial cultivation has successfully broken through to the peak of body tempering stage level 8. Ding. Congratulations, Master. Martial cultivation has successfully broken through to the peak of body tempering stage level 8. Feeling the increase in his cultivation base, Ji was very satisfied. The Azure Mystic Pill did not disappoint him at all. Now that my cultivation base has reached the peak of body tempering stage level 8, I'm just one step away from breaking through to body tempering stage level 9. That bastard Chen Yang's cultivation base is at the peak of body tempering stage level 9. If I refine 2 more Azure Mystic Pills and consume them, I should be able to crush him. Ji thought to himself. Then, he took out a cauldron and some alchemy materials from his storage ring. This cauldron was the one from the alchemy class. It was also given to him by Yu Shuyun. As for the alchemy materials, they were the materials needed to refine the Azure Mystic Pill. Without wasting any time, Ji immediately began to refine the pills. At the same time, in the meeting hall of the Lin Mansion, Jiang Yushin seemed to be a little impatient from waiting. Without the slightest trace of politeness, she questioned Lin Zhanshan, "Where did that guy go? Why hasn't he returned after so long?" "Miss Jiang, I only know that Qi Tian went to the Chaoyang branch to attend an alchemy class. I'm not sure why he hasn't returned yet." The smile on Lin Zhanshan's face was a little forced. No matter what, he was still the head of the family. To be treated like this by a junior was really embarrassing. If the other party was not the second miss of the City Lord's mansion, he would have been enraged. He forced himself to endure and continued, "However, he has already left for more than 2 hours. He should be back soon." Lin Chitian walked back to the Lin mansion with soulless eyes. Suddenly, he saw an old servant running towards him. Young master, hurry up and go to the meeting hall. The City Lord's mansion's second miss is looking for you," the old servant hurriedly shouted. "What?" Lin Chitian was stunned when he heard this. The City Lord's mansion's second miss. That Jiang Yushin? Why is she suddenly looking for me? Could it be that she has taken a liking to me? Other than this, Lin Chitian couldn't think of any other reason. This was because he had never seen that Jiang Yushin before, nor did he have any interactions with her. Thinking that Jiang Yushin might have taken a liking to him, Lin Chitian's originally gloomy mood quickly disappeared. Although he had never seen Jiang Yushin before, he had seen Jiang Yuexin's older sister, Jiang Yuchu. With Jiang Yuechu's peerless appearance, as her sister, Jiang Yushin shouldn't be too bad either. Anyways, as long as it was a beauty, he would be happy. Lin Chitian immediately quickened his steps towards the meeting hall. He couldn't wait to see how beautiful Jiang Yushin was. Not long after, Lin Chitian arrived at the meeting hall. Other than his father, there was also a pink-dressed girl and some black-clothed people in the hall. "Father, I'm back," Lin Chitian first said to Lin Zhanshan. "Chitian, you're finally back," Lin Zhanshan said with a smile. He then introduced to Jiang Yushin, "Miss Jiang, this is my son, Lin Chitian, the #1 martial genius of our Lin family." When Lin Zhanshan said this, Lin Chitian's gaze immediately fell on the pink-dressed girl. This was Jiang Yushin. Her appearance wasn't bad. Lin Chitian's eyes flashed with a trace of undetectable greed. If he could get this Jiang Yushin, that would be great. However, Jiang Yushin seemed to have caught Lin Chitian's gaze. A trace of disgust appeared on her delicate face as she said, "The person I'm looking for isn't this lecher." "Not him," Lin Zhanshan said with a surprised expression, "but he is indeed the #1 martial genius of our Lin family. There is no one else." After saying this, he glared at Lin Chitian. For Miss Jiang to call him a lecher, it must be Lin Chitian's problem again. Lin Chitian's neck shrunk slightly. He didn't expect Jiang Yuexin's eyes to be so sharp. But that wasn't the main point. The main point was what was going on. It sounded like Jiang Yushin came to the Lin family to find the #1 martial genius. But wasn't the #1 martial genius of the Lin family him? I remember very clearly that it's definitely not him. Although that guy is a bit of a bastard, at least he's much more handsome than him. Jiang Yushin didn't hold back and said whatever she wanted to say. She couldn't help but wonder if that bastard lied to her and wasn't from the Lin family at all. Chapter 22. Lin Zhanshan was speechless and didn't know what to say. Lin Qitian's face was also a bit ugly. She was clearly saying that he was ugly. Lin Zhantian forced a smile on his face and asked, "Then can Miss Jiang describe his appearance in detail? If he is really someone from the Lin family, I can help you find him." Appearance: his face is quite handsome. He looks around 16 or 17 years old. The most special thing is that he always wears a strange black robe. Jiang Yushin thought carefully and said. Lin Zhantian thought for a while and shook his head. Our Lin family doesn't have such a person. Lin Qitian also thought for a while. 16 or 17 years old, always wearing a black robe. Wait. At this moment, he almost blurted out, "It can't be that brat, right?" Hearing Lin Qitian's sudden exclamation, Jiang Yushin immediately asked, "Do you know that guy?" "I know one, but he shouldn't be the person Miss Jiang is looking for. He's only talented in alchemy, but he can't be the #1 martial genius of our Lin family." Speaking of that person, Lin Qitian's face was very strange and his heart was full of resentment. Talented in alchemy? Jiang Yushin frowned slightly. That bastard's martial strength was very strong. Normally speaking, his alchemy skills couldn't be as strong. Maybe it really wasn't the same person. But no matter what, she still wanted to see him first. She said, "Go find him for me, I want to see him." That. It will take a lot of time to find him. During this time, Miss Jiang, Lin Qitian said with a bit of difficulty. During this time, I will stay in your Lin family until you find that guy. What? Do you have a problem with that? Jiang Yushin said coldly. No problem, of course no problem. Lin Qitian was very uncomfortable, but he could only smile. After that, Lin Zhanshan went to arrange accommodations for Jiang Yushin and the others, leaving Lin Qitian alone in the meeting hall. His expression was extremely ugly. He had just been slapped in the face in alchemy class, and now he had to submit to Jiang Yushin. He felt extremely humiliated. As the young master of the Lin family, when had he ever suffered such grievances? Since he couldn't touch Jiang Yushin, he planned to vent all his resentment on that brat. Even if Jiang Yushin didn't say anything, he would find out who that kid was. Once Jiang Yushin confirmed that the brat was not the person he was looking for, he would make that brat pay a painful price. At this time, Ji Yu was still refining the azure mystic pill. She had no idea what was going on in the meeting hall. Ding! Master has successfully refined a Qing Shen pill. Experience gained in alchemy, 100 by 999 times. In less than an hour, Ji Yu had successfully refined an azure mystic pill. This time, his alchemy technique was much more skillful than the first time he refined the azure mystic pill. The entire alchemy process was much smoother, and even the time it took was much shorter. He could guarantee that the next time he refined the azure mystic pill, he would be even better. First, because successfully refining an alchemy pill would greatly increase his alchemy skills. Second, because the more he refined the azure mystic pill, the more proficient he would naturally become. Ji Yu was not in a hurry to consume the azure mystic pill. Instead, she began to refine the second set of ingredients. When the time came, it would be more satisfying to consume the 2 azure mystic pills together. This time, it took less time than before. Ji Yu only used about 40 minutes to successfully refine the azure mystic pill. Just like that, 2 high-quality azure mystic pills appeared in Ji Yu's hands. Without any hesitation, she swallowed the 2 azure mystic pills together. Ding! Congratulations, Master! Your martial cultivation has successfully broken through to the late stage of the 9th level of the body tempering stage. Following the breakthrough of his martial cultivation from the perfect stage of the 8th level of the body tempering stage to the late stage of the 9th level of the body tempering stage, Ji Yu instantly felt the profound energy in her body explosively increase. It was obvious that the higher the cultivation, the harder it was to break through. Consuming 2 high-quality first-grade azure mystic pills together only allowed her to break through 3 small realms. It seems that I still have a long way to go before I can break through to the defensive mystic realm. Ji thought to herself. But with my current cultivation, it is enough. As long as I use my profound skills, I will be able to crush Chen Yang. Chapter 23. A body-tempering realm. Martial artists' comprehension and acceptance were limited. Although Chen Yang was the eldest young master of the Chen family, his cultivation was still in the body-tempering realm. He would definitely be unable to cultivate a superior yellow rank profound skill. Even a middle yellow rank profound skill would be difficult for him to cultivate. However, Ji was completely different. She didn't need to learn a profound skill as the system itself came with a profound skill that could be upgraded. Currently, he had 2 middle yellow rank profound skills that would soon be upgraded to superior yellow rank. Furthermore, he was at the late stage of the 9th level of the body-tempering realm. Even if Chen Yang's cultivation was at the peak of the 9th level of the body-tempering realm, he wouldn't be a match for him. Since I want to strengthen my profound skill, I'll make a trip to the martial arts field. Ji muttered to herself as she walked out of the room and headed to the martial arts field. Not long after, Ji arrived at the Lin family's martial arts field. This was a martial arts field specially built by the Lin family for all the Lin family disciples to cultivate. At this moment, there were many Lin family disciples on the martial arts field. Some were cultivating basic techniques, some were cultivating fist techniques, and some were gathered together to brag. Ji didn't greet anyone as she prepared to cultivate her profound skill. Ding! Master has used Soaring Cloud Steps. Soaring Cloud Steps obtained experience, 50*999 ek. The moment he used the Soaring Cloud Steps, his figure disappeared from his original spot and appeared not far away in the next moment. This shocking speed attracted the attention of many Lin family disciples on the martial arts field. F*ck, did you guys see that? That guy's speed is so fast. I saw it too. That guy moved so far away in the blink of an eye. He should have used some kind of yellow rank profound skill. When did our Lin family have such a powerful person? Why haven't I seen him before? The surrounding Lin family disciples were all shocked. When they saw Ji's true appearance, a small portion of them suddenly recalled something. Wait, I've seen this youth before. He seems to be a servant of our Lin family. You're not joking, right? With such strength, how could he be a mere servant? It seems to be true. I also remember that he was a servant. I used to ask him to do things. Many people immediately began to argue about this matter. However, Ji didn't care about these people in the slightest. She continued to use Soaring Cloud Steps to strengthen her movement technique. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The yellow rank medium grade profound skill Soaring Cloud Steps has successfully broken through to the peak of perfection. Ding! It has been detected that the middle yellow grade mystical skill, Soaring Cloud Steps, has been fully upgraded to the high yellow grade mystical skill, Ling Tian Step. After an unknown amount of time, Ji finally upgraded the mid-yellow rank Soaring Cloud Steps to a high yellow rank profound movement skill. During this period of time, almost all of the Lin family members in the martial arts field had forgotten about their own cultivation and were constantly looking at the black-robed youth. This was the first time they had seen someone who could move at such a fast speed. Furthermore, he didn't stop at all. Why does he keep flashing here and there? Could it be that he's cultivating some sort of profound movement skill? He must be using some sort of profound movement skill. Under normal circumstances, it's impossible to be as fast as him. Even if he's cultivating a movement skill, it's still too scary. Not to mention how high the level of the movement skill he's using is, he's still not exhausted even after using it so many times. His martial cultivation is definitely not ordinary. The main point is that he's also a servant of our Lin family. I really don't understand why he wants to be a servant of our Lin family. The surrounding Lin family members were discussing about Ji. They didn't know that Ji had already broken away from the status of a servant. At the same time, Ji's movement skill had already been upgraded to the high yellow grade. He finally stopped. He planned to first rest and recover the profound qi in his body before starting to cultivate his fist technique. After about half an hour, Ji Yu felt that he had more or less recovered and prepared to start cultivating his fist technique. During this half an hour, not a single Lin family member dared to disturb him. At most, they would sneak a few glances or whisper a few words in private. After that, Ji Yu stood up and walked towards a wooden stake. The people standing around the wooden stake all consciously dispersed. They instinctively had a sense of awe towards the strong. The following scene completely stunned them. They saw the black-robed youth throw a punch. With a peng sound, the entire wooden stake was instantly smashed into pieces. At this moment, all of the Lin family members present were flabbergasted and dumbstruck. They didn't dare to believe what they had just seen. Just one punch was able to smash the wooden stake into pieces. The wooden stakes in their Lin family's martial arts field were specially made of extremely hard materials. In the past, there was basically no Lin family member who was able to damage the wooden stakes. It was said that only geniuses at the 9th level of the tempered body stage could cause damage to these wooden stakes. But this black-robed youth actually smashed the wooden stake into pieces with one punch. Didn't this mean that this youth's martial cultivation was at least at the 9th level of the tempered body stage? Chapter 24. Ji Yu had used all of his strength in this 7 strength fist, but he didn't expect that he would accidentally break the wooden stake. He didn't know if he would be asked for compensation. Forget it, since I've already broken one, I'll continue. Ji Yu couldn't be bothered to care so much and continued to walk to the next wooden stake. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The middle grade yellow rank profound skill 7 strength fist has successfully broken through to perfection. Another punch smashed the wooden stake. At the same time, Ji Yu's 7 strength fist had also reached the perfection realm. As long as it broke through again, it would automatically upgrade to a high-grade yellow rank profound skill. Now, he had already smashed 2 wooden stakes, followed by the 3rd, 4th, 5th, until Ji Yu used his fist to smash more than half of the wooden stakes in the martial arts field. Many of the surrounding Lin family disciples suddenly reacted. Wait, why is this guy still destroying the wooden stakes? Is this guy crazy? He has no intention of stopping at all. Could it be that he wants to destroy all the wooden stakes here? Hurry up and stop him. If we are discovered, we will all be in trouble. Damn it, you make it sound so easy. Why don't you try stopping him? Everyone knew the severity of the matter, but no one dared to go forward and stop the black-robed youth. Even the sturdy wooden stakes couldn't withstand a single punch from the youth. If they rashly ran up, they would probably break apart. At this moment, a scolding voice came from behind them. Why are you all standing there in a daze? Why aren't you going to practice martial arts? A tall and sturdy middle-aged man walked over. When the Lin family disciples saw that it was Manager Lin, they immediately opened their mouths. Manager Lin, quickly look. That guy has already destroyed more than half of the wooden stakes in the martial arts field. That's right, with that guy doing this, we won't be able to properly practice martial arts. We also want to stop him, but we can't beat him. Hearing these complaints, the tall and sturdy middle-aged man called Manager Lin frowned and raised his head to look at the black-robed youth. In the next moment, his pupils suddenly shrank. He originally thought that these fellows were exaggerating. How could anyone destroy the wooden stakes in the martial arts field? However, the reality in front of him was that most of the wooden stakes in the martial arts field had turned into debris. You brat, stop. The burly middle-aged man came back to his senses and immediately rebuked the black-robed youth. Ji Yu chose to ignore the burly middle-aged man's voice because he felt that his 7 strength fist was about to break through to the greater perfection realm, which meant that it could be upgraded to a superior yellow rank fist technique. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The yellow rank medium grade 7 strength fist has successfully broken through to the peak of perfection. Ding! It has been detected that the middle yellow rank profound skill, 7 strength fists experience bar is full. It has been automatically upgraded to the upper yellow rank profound skill, stone breaking fist. Seeing that this brat dared to ignore him, the burly middle-aged man angrily walked towards Ji Yu. Didn't you hear what I said? Scram. Ji Yu spat out 2 words. You. After being provoked by a little brat time and time again, the burly middle-aged man could no longer bear it. "You little brat, see how I'll take care of you." He slapped towards Jiyu, only to see that Jiyu executed the stone-crushing fist at an even faster speed. Because Jiyu's speed was too fast, the burly middle-aged man was unable to react in time. In the next moment, the burly middle-aged man flew a few meters away and crashed onto the ground, unconscious. At this moment, the surrounding Lin family members were scared silly. They were very clear that Manager Lin had a cultivation at the perfect 8th level of the body tempering stage, but he was knocked down by a single punch from the black-robed youth without the slightest chance to retaliate. At this moment, Jiyu looked at the burly middle-aged man on the ground without a trace of pity in his eyes. Those wooden stakes weren't valuable, and he could pay for them at any time. But this guy just had to come looking for trouble. Wasn't he just asking for trouble? Now that the fist and movement profound skills had both been upgraded to superior yellow-level profound skills, Jiyu didn't plan to continue staying here and slowly left. Jiyu walked out of the Lin family mansion and prepared to stroll around the streets. Not long after he left the Lin family mansion, he suddenly discovered a man pasting something on the wall. He curiously walked over to take a look and shockingly discovered that it was a portrait of himself. The portrait on the wall was exactly the same as him, and below it was a bounty of 1,000 gold coins. This was clearly a bounty poster. Jiyu frowned and immediately used the cloud soaring steps to arrive in front of the man who had just pasted the portrait. He directly grabbed the man's neck with one hand and coldly questioned, "Who ordered you to put this up?" The man looked at Jiyu with a face full of fear and stuttered, It's young Master Chen Yang." After obtaining the answer, Jiyu immediately exerted some force. With a crack, the man's neck was directly broken by him. This person was obviously Chen Yang's lackey, so he naturally wouldn't let him off so easily. At this moment, Jiyu's eyes turned gloomy and fierce. "Damn you, Chen Yang. You're really trying to kill us all." Chapter 25. Fortunately, Jiyu had the 999 times cultivation system, so he had nothing to fear. The bounty was only marked with a bounty of 1,000 gold coins. This kind of bounty could only attract some lone warriors with small strength at most. Any martial cultivator with some influence or strength would not be interested in this kind of bounty. Moreover, with his current strength, unless it was a defensive profound realm expert, no one would be able to pose a threat to him. Jiyu wished he could kill Chen Yang right now, but there were so many experts in the Chen clan that he couldn't just barge into the Chen clan. The only thing he could do now was to increase his strength while looking for a suitable opportunity. If it really didn't work out, he could wait until he was strong enough to go against the entire Chen clan and then settle the score with Chen Yang. A gentleman's revenge was never too late. Strength was the true king. At this time, Jiyu was no longer in the mood to go shopping. He planned to return to his residence and cultivate in seclusion. At the same time, Lin Chitian had already sent people to investigate the identity of the black-robed youth. He was now waiting for news. "Young master, I've found out the identity of the black-robed youth." At this time, a middle-aged man barged in. Lin Chitian's eyes lit up. "Speak." "The black-robed youth's real name is Jiyu. He was adopted by an ordinary family when he was young. A year ago, he came to our Lin family and became a servant. A few days ago, he was no longer a servant. Recently, he has been active in our Lin clan," the middle-aged man said. Lin Chitian was slightly startled. He didn't expect that kid to be related to the Lin family. "Then what's his cultivation level?" Lin Chitian continued to ask. "A year ago, when he came to our Lin family, he was only at the 2nd level of the body tempering stage. It seems that he had just broken through to the 3rd level of the body tempering stage." The middle-aged man thought for a moment before replying. "All right, you can leave." Lin Chitian nodded and said indifferently, "Yes." The middle-aged man immediately left the place. Not long after the middle-aged man left, Lin Chitian suddenly laughed, "Ha ha ha, so it's a piece of trash." At the same time, he was certain that this brat was definitely not the person that Jiang Yushin was looking for. After all, the person that Jiang Yushin mentioned seemed to possess a very high level of martial arts. It was impossible for him to be a trash at the third level of the body tempering stage. At this moment, a sinister look flashed in his eyes, as if he was scheming something. At this very moment, Ji-yu was cultivating her profound energy in her own room. Suddenly, a voice came from outside the door. Ji-yu, right? The head of the Lin family wants you to go to the discussion hall. He said that the second miss of the city lord's estate is looking for you. The person outside the door seemed to leave as soon as he finished speaking. Ji-yu immediately withdrew from her cultivation state, and a trace of doubt flashed in her eyes. Why did that little girl, Jiang Yushin, suddenly come to find him at this time? He walked out of the room and headed for the meeting hall. Not long after, Ji-yu arrived at the Lin Mansion's meeting hall. She saw that there were only two people in the meeting hall, Lin Chitian and Jiang Yushin. Ji-yu first looked at Lin Chitian, only to see that Lin Chitian was looking at her with a ridiculing gaze. Jiang Yushin also saw Ji-yu walking in. She immediately revealed a joyful expression and said, "You bastard, you're finally here." At this moment, Lin Chitian was dumbfounded. This wasn't right. This brat was clearly a trash. Shouldn't the person that Jiang Yushin was looking for not be this brat? Why did you come to find me? Ji-yu expressionlessly asked. You're really boring. Seeing Ji-yu's expression, Jiang Yushin shook her head and sighed. Then, she took out a white card from her bosom. Here, this is the 2,000 gold coins that I owed you last time. This time, I'll pay you back in full. Ji-yu took the white card and was a bit surprised. I didn't think that you would take the initiative to pay me back. If Jiang Yushin didn't mention this matter, he would have forgotten that she still owed him 2,000 gold coins. Really, what kind of person do you think this miss is? Jiang Yushin wrinkled her nose and unhappily said, no matter what, this miss won't go so far as to not pay back. Yes, yes, yes. Ji-yu casually said. Hearing Ji-yu and Jiang Yueshin's conversation, Lin Chitian's expression became more and more strange. He didn't think that this brat would not only know Jiang Yushin, but also have a good relationship with her. Now he couldn't make a move on this brat. If you don't have anything else, I'll go back first. Ji-yu put the white card in his pocket and said to Jiang Yushin, don't be in a hurry to go back. This miss did come to find you for something else. Jiang Yushin said, I'm going to the Demon Beast mountain range to collect some medicinal herbs. I want you to go with me. Sorry, I can't help you with this. Ji-yu shook his head almost without hesitation. Chapter 26. Why? Don't you like to hunt demonic beasts in the Demonic Beast mountain range? Jiang Yushin asked, unable to understand. Do you still need to ask why? I don't want to bring a burden along. Ji-yu said without hesitation. Kid, it's your fortune that Miss Jiang is willing to bring you to the Demonic Beast mountain range. Don't be so shameless. At this moment, Lin Chitian couldn't help but interrupt. He really couldn't stand it anymore. Even he had to be obedient in front of Jiang Yushin, but this kid dared to speak so impudently to Jiang Yushin. Not to mention that he felt unbalanced in his heart. If this kid said something wrong and angered Jiang Yushin, then the entire Lin family would suffer a calamity. You don't have the right to speak here. Scram to the side. Ji-yu said coldly. Lin Chitian suddenly became angry and was about to flare up. But he heard Jiang Yushin echo, that's right, that's right. You don't have the right to interrupt when we're talking. This time, Lin Chitian was completely dumbfounded. He was clearly speaking up for Jiang Yushin, but Jiang Yushin not only didn't appreciate it, but also scolded him along with the kid. He felt more and more strange. This kid was so impudent, but Jiang Yushin didn't seem angry at all. What was the relationship between this kid and Jiang Yushin? Lin Chitian still didn't believe it and continued, Miss Jiang, I think you shouldn't invite this kid. This kid is purely a martial arts trash and won't be of any help to you. Why don't I accompany you to the Demonic Beast mountain range? When Lin Chitian said this, before Ji-yu could say anything, Jiang Yushin said with a displeased face, what? You said he's trash? She had seen Ji-yu's strength with her own eyes. She admitted that she was much weaker than that guy. But this Lin Chitian actually said that guy was trash. Didn't that mean that she was worse than trash? What else? This kid is just a trash at the third level of the body tempering stage. It's embarrassing to say it out loud. Lin Chitian said with disdain. After hearing Lin Chitian's words, Jiang Yuexin's expression gradually turned somewhat strange. He's a trash at tempered body third layer? Jiang Yuexin looked at Ji Yu strangely. Ji Yu just smiled and didn't say anything. Wasn't this bastard at least at the 9th level of the body tempering stage? When did he become a trash at the 3rd level of the body tempering stage? Seeing Ji Yu's expression, Jiang Yuexin seemed to have understood something. This bastard must have tricked Lin Chitian. She immediately thought of something interesting and said to Lin Chitian, "You said he's trash, right? But I'm not as strong as him, so you're saying I'm not even trash?" Lin Chitian wanted to say yes, but when he heard Jiang Yuexin's words, he felt that something was wrong and quickly shut his mouth. His entire body was frozen. For a moment, he couldn't react to what was going on. If he said yes, he would offend Miss Jiang. If he said no, he felt that something was wrong. He didn't know if he should say yes or no. After a while, Lin Chitian suddenly reacted. "Ji Yu, that brat is clearly a trash at the 3rd level of the body tempering stage. Then why did Miss Jiang say that he was calling him trash?" Lin Chitian clearly remembered that the eldest miss of the City Lord's mansion was the #1 martial genius in the entire Chaoyang ancient city. The second Miss Martial Talent was only second to the eldest miss. Logically speaking, Jiang Yuexin's strength shouldn't be inferior to Ji Yu's brat. The more Lin Chitian thought, the more he couldn't understand. What was going on? Seeing Lin Chitian's foolish appearance, Jiang Yuexin almost couldn't help but laugh out loud. But she didn't plan to continue joking. Her expression was normal as she said to Lin Chitian, "I'll let you off for speaking rudely to me. You don't have to do anything now." Then she turned to Ji Yu and said, "Let's go, Ji Yu." Ji Yu didn't say anything and followed Jiang Yuexin out of the hall. He didn't want to stay with Lin Chitian anymore. Even after Jiang Yuexin and Ji Yu left, Lin Chitian was still wondering how he had offended Miss Jiang. Chapter 27. What do you think? I helped you to tease that guy. Don't you have anything to say? Walking on the road, Jiang Yuexin asked Ji Yu. In Ji Yu's eyes, this guy was like a child asking for praise from his parents. He thought for a moment, then put his hand on Jiang Yuexin's head and patted it. He praised, "Yes, yes, you are very good." Jiang Yuexin was stunned and didn't react for a while. The next moment, she quickly slapped away Ji Yu's hand and pointed at Ji Yu with shame and indignation. You, don't treat me like a child." Although that feeling, she didn't hate it. "Didn't I do as you said?" Ji Yu was a little confused. This was clearly what the other party asked. "I don't want you to touch my head. I want you to go with me to the Demon Beast mountain range," Jiang Yuexin said. "So you are talking about that? You should have said it earlier," Ji Yu said helplessly. Jiang Yuexin couldn't help trembling with anger. This bastard touched her head inexplicably. Why did he make it seem like she was wrong? Okay, I will go with you to the Demon Beast mountain range," Ji Yu said with a smile. After what happened in the conference hall just now, his perception of Jiang Yuexin had changed a little. He felt that this guy was not as annoying as before. Instead, he felt that this guy was quite cute. It just so happened that he could go to the Demon Beast mountain range to hunt demon beasts and earn more gold coins. In the future, when he had enough gold coins, he could buy materials to refine elixirs and sell them. This kind of profit was very high. He could earn a lot of gold coins very soon. That's good. The anger on Jiang Yuexin's face disappeared in an instant and was replaced by joy. "Then I will come to you tomorrow. Where do you live?" Seeing how Jiang Yuexin's expression changed so quickly, Ji Yu couldn't help but sigh. Women really changed their expressions faster than flipping a book. He pointed in a certain direction. "Go straight down this road and stop in front of a small forest. Then, turn right. After a while, you'll see a small thatched hut. That's where I live." "A small thatched hut? You actually live in such a place?" Jiang Yushin had a look of disbelief on her face. I seriously suspect that you're lying to me. With this guy's ability, she didn't believe that this guy would be willing to live in such a place. Why would I lie to you? After thinking about it, Ji was too lazy to explain. Forget it. It's up to you whether you believe me or not. Alright, I'll trust you this time. Jiang Yushin still chose to believe Ji. Even if this guy was really lying to her, she could find this guy at any time. It was just that it was relatively more troublesome. Then I'll go back first. After speaking, Ji walked back to his residence. Soon after, Ji returned to his residence. He sat on the bed and recalled what happened earlier. From his observation, that Lin Chitian should have already sent people to investigate his background. But no matter how much they investigated, it was practically impossible to know his performance in the Demon Beast mountain range. That was why they said that he was a trash at the 3rd level of the body tempering stage. Moreover, from the fact that Lin Chitian didn't mention Chen Yang, he guessed that that guy probably didn't know about Chen Yang's actions. Thinking up to here, Ji couldn't help but coldly smile. That dog Chen Yang really hid it well. There probably wasn't a third party in the entire Chaoyang city who knew about that dog's murder and robbery. After pondering for a while, Ji didn't find any key clues. Thus, he didn't think about those things anymore and prepared to continue cultivating his profound qi. Ding. Master cultivated the martial Dao for 1 minute. Martial Dao cultivation obtained experience points, 1 by 999 times. Ding. Master cultivated the martial Dao for 1 minute. Martial Dao cultivation obtained experience points, 1 by 999 times. An entire night had passed. Although his cultivation still hadn't broken through to the peak of the 9th level of the body tempering stage, Ji could feel that his current cultivation had stabilized by a lot. Recently, he had been using medicinal pills to increase his cultivation. Although the system minimized the drawbacks of using medicinal pills, the drawbacks accumulated, causing him to feel that his cultivation was slightly unstable. Thus, it was necessary to stabilize his cultivation from time to time. It's already morning. I'll go to the Chaoyang branch and get the alchemist badge first. Ji opened his eyes and looked out the window as he muttered to himself. Chapter 28. Chaoyang Ancient City, Chaoyang Branch. A man in a black robe walked out of the Chaoyang branch. He was none other than Ji. He had already received his alchemist badge. There was a badge with a purple star engraved on it. The number of stars represented the alchemist's grade. The color of the stars represented low grade, mid grade, and high grade. For example, white represented low grade, blue represented mid grade, and purple represented high grade. Therefore, the badge with a purple star engraved on it in Ji's hand symbolized that he was a first-grade superior alchemist. After becoming a first-grade superior alchemist, he would be able to enjoy the corresponding benefits. He had just received a lot of alchemy materials from the Chaoyang branch. Furthermore, he would be able to enjoy a discount when trading pills in a place like the Chaoyang branch. After returning to the thatched cottage in the Lin mansion, Ji immediately took out the alchemy furnace and a pile of alchemy materials from his storage ring. These alchemy materials were given to him by the Chaoyang branch for free. They could be used to refine various low-grade and mid-grade elixirs. Ji immediately started a fire and placed a set of materials into the alchemy furnace. Ding! It has been detected that Master has started to refine the low-grade elixir Mystic Recovery Pill. The success rate of refining pills has increased by 999 times. About 10 minutes later, a profound returning pill was successfully refined by him. Ji then continued to refine other elixirs. Since these elixirs were all low-grade and mid-grade elixirs, he was able to refine them quickly and easily. In just over an hour, he had finished refining all the elixirs. Ding! Congratulations, Master! Your alchemy attainment has successfully broken through to a second-grade inferior alchemist. After Ji finished refining all the elixirs, his alchemy attainment had also been upgraded to a second-grade inferior alchemist. His alchemy skills and soul power had also increased tremendously. He looked at the elixirs that he had refined. 5 of them were for cultivating celestial Kai while the other 3 were for recovering celestial Kai. He casually grabbed the 5 pills used to cultivate Xian Qi and directly stuffed them into his mouth. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Your martial Dao cultivation has successfully broken through to the peak of the 9th level of the body tempering stage. Jiyu originally thought that these 5 elixirs would allow his cultivation to break through to the peak of the 9th level of the body tempering stage, but it stopped at the peak of the 9th level of the body tempering stage. However, he could feel that he was just a little bit away from breaking through from the peak of the 9th level of the body tempering stage. It was just a matter of time. Dong dong dong. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. Immediately after, a voice sounded. Jiyu, I'm here. Jiyu knew that the person was Jiang Yushin. She slowly walked over and opened the door. As soon as the door opened, a cute little head poked in. Wow, you actually live in a place like this? Jiang Yushin exclaimed. Didn't I tell you? You just didn't believe me. Jiyu said, wait outside for a while. I need to prepare something. After speaking, Jiyu walked back into the house to prepare, but Jiang Yushin directly followed her in. He glanced at Jiang Yushin, who walked into the house behind him, but didn't say anything. Jiang Yushin looked around the entire thatched house and said in surprise, I didn't expect your house to be so clean and simple. Speaking of which, why don't you live in a better place? I'm used to living here. Jiyu said indifferently. At this moment, he was putting away the pill furnace and the remaining 3 profound returning pills into his spatial ring. When Jiang Yushin saw this, she suddenly recalled that Lin Chitian said that this guy's talent in the Tao of alchemy was very high. She asked curiously, so you're a pill master? Your talent in the Tao of alchemy should be very high, right? It's just SOSO. Jiyu said casually. TSK, I knew you would say that. Jiang Yushin looked at Jiyu with disdain. I'm ready, we can go now. At this time, Jiyu said. Then let's go. With that, Jiang Yushin followed Jiyu out of the thatched house. After a few steps, Jiang Yushin said again, don't you want to cover your face with a black robe first? Jiyu looked at Jiang Yushin with a slightly changed expression. It seems that you already know. Of course, this young lady is not blind. Now the streets are full of wanted posters for you. Jiang Yushin said. Since you already know, you still dare to be with me? Jiyu said while covering his face with a black robe. Why wouldn't I dare? Jiang Yushin said proudly, although I don't know what happened to you, it has nothing to do with me inviting you to the Demon Beast mountain range. What's more, as the second young lady of the City Lord's mansion, she doesn't need to put the Chen family in her eyes. Jiyu couldn't help but smile softly, that's true. Jiang Yushin suddenly seemed to be keenly aware of something. Did you just smile? No. You must have smiled. Take off your black robe and let me see. I said no, don't make trouble. Chapter 29. At this moment, Jiyu and Jiang Yushin had arrived at the Demon Beast mountain range. Speaking of which, I still don't know what kind of medicinal material you want to collect. At this time, Jiyu suddenly thought of something and asked. It's a kind of purple sungrass, which usually grows next to swamps. Jiang Yushin said. Purple sungrass, Jiyu thought for a moment. This was a relatively precious medicinal material, which was the main ingredient needed to refine some second-grade medicinal pills. But speaking of swamps, he remembered that there were not many swamps in the outer area of the Demon Beast mountain range. I remember that there are no swamps in the outer area of the Demon Beast mountain range. Did you go deep into the inner area? Jiyu asked. Yes, but the swamps are located at the junction of the outer area and the inner area. It's more dangerous, so I deliberately went to find you. Jiang Yushin said. Speaking of which, I've been wanting to ask for a long time. Aren't you the second miss of the City Lord Mansion? Why don't you ask those powerhouses of the City Lord Mansion to accompany you? Jiyu said. No. Jiang Yushin suddenly said excitedly. Her face was slightly pale, and she struggled to shake her head. They can't. Noticing that Jiang Yushin's state was very strange, Jiyu immediately knew that he said something wrong, but he couldn't understand why Jiang Yushin was so excited. After a while, Jiang Yushin realized that she was wrong, but her expression was still a little depressed. Sorry, I just lost my composure. Okay, let's not talk about this, let's hurry to the swamps. Ji Yu immediately changed the topic. Although he didn't know what happened to Jiang Yushin, he felt that it was better not to ask. Jiang Yushin tried to calm her emotions. Along the way, Ji Yu and Jiang Yushin encountered all kinds of rank 1 beasts. All of them were taken care of by Ji Yu. Not only did her heaven-trampling steps and stone-breaking fist reach the initial success stage, but she also obtained a lot of demonic beast materials. After another 10 minutes, they finally arrived at their destination. In front of them was a huge swamp. The trees on all sides had withered, giving people a feeling of death. We'd better be careful. Not far ahead is the intersection between the outer and inner regions. If we're unlucky, we might encounter a rank 2 monster beast. Jiang Yushin said as she looked ahead warily. Yes. Ji Yu nodded. A rank 2 demonic beast was equivalent to a human cultivator in the defensive profound realm. As long as a random rank 2 demonic beast appeared, they would have to flee. Unless it was a demonic beast that had just broken through to the first stage of 2nd grade, Ji Yu might be able to contend against it. After all, a rank 1 monster beast and a rank 2 monster beast were like the body tempering realm and the defensive profound realm. There was an insurmountable gap between the two. I see purple sun grass. At this moment, Jiang Yushin exclaimed softly. Ji Yu followed Jiang Yushin's gaze and saw a stalk of purple sun grass standing firmly at the edge of the swamp. Without waiting for him to speak, Jiang Yushin quickly walked over. Wait. Ji Yu wanted to stop Jiang Yushin, but it was too late. Oh no. Ji Yu cursed in his heart. This was because he sensed an extremely strong demonic aura in the swamp. There was definitely an undefeatable existence hidden in the swamp. At this moment, Jiang Yushin had already walked to the edge of the swamp and reached out to pluck the purple sun grass. In the next moment, a huge grey python with red stripes all over its body rushed out from the swamp, opening its bloody mouth and charging towards Jiang Yushin. Jiang Yushin was dumbfounded when she saw the gigantic mouth coming at her. Her smile froze on her face. Luckily, Ji Yu's reaction was fast enough and he immediately used the Ling Tian steps. In the blink of an eye, Ji Yu appeared next to Jiang Yushin in a flash. She quickly carried Jiang Yushin in her arms and performed the heaven-trampling steps again to escape. At this moment, Jiang Yushin finally regained her senses. Due to the huge shock, not only did she not realize that Ji Yu was carrying her in a princess carry, she even used her hands to hug Ji Yu's neck tightly. Ji Yu originally thought that he had escaped safely, but found that the red-striped python's speed was shockingly fast, chasing after him relentlessly. He gritted his teeth with an ugly expression. This red-striped python was obviously a 2nd-grade demonic beast, and it was not an ordinary 2nd-grade demonic beast. It was an existence that he could not fight against at all. Furthermore, he was still carrying Jiang Yushin, so his speed was more or less affected. It was extremely difficult for him to completely escape from this red-striped python. But no matter what, Ji Yu could not just stand there and wait for death, so he continued to use the Ling Tian steps to escape. Jiang Yushin seemed to have realized that she was being carried by Ji Yu, but she did not struggle. Instead, she tried to relax her body to reduce the pressure on Ji Yu. After escaping for an unknown period of time, Ji Yu had even forgotten how many times he had used the Ling Tian steps, but he was still unable to escape from the red-striped python's pursuit. Ji Yu, put me down, at this moment, Jiang Yushin said with a sorrowful expression. However, Ji Yu completely ignored her and focused on escaping. To be honest, if this continues, we will both die. Why don't you let me, a burden, hold it back? At least you can escape. Jiang Yushin still did not give up on her idea. She took out the purple sungrass and continued, I only have one last request. I hope that you can give this purple sungrass to my sister. I will not leave you behind. Ji Yu looked ahead with a serious expression and said this with a heavy tone. Jiang Yushin was slightly stunned, then said with a struggling expression, don't joke around. If this continues, you will also die. Don't worry, neither of us will die. Ji said in a low voice. This was because he could feel that his Ling Tian steps was about to break through to the mastery level. Once he broke through to that level, his speed would definitely be faster than the red-striped python behind him. After hearing Ji words, Jiang Yushan knew that no matter what she said, this guy would not listen. She sighed sadly in her heart. She immediately regretted bringing Ji to the Demon Beast mountain range. The current situation was all her fault. Chapter 30. Ding. Congratulations, Master. The yellow rank superior profound skill Ling Tian steps has successfully broken through to the mastery stage. After using the Ling Tian steps for God knows how many times, the system finally strengthened the Ling Tian steps to the realm of mastery. Ji was immediately overjoyed. Now he could shake off the giant python behind him. Ding. Master has used Ling Tian steps. Ling Tian steps obtained experience 100*999 ek. After using the Ling Tian steps again, Ji could clearly feel that his speed was much faster than before. Jiang Yushan, whose cultivation wasn't weak, also faintly felt this. She turned her head to look at the giant python behind her and was shocked to find that Ji was getting further and further away from it. Her delicate face immediately revealed a trace of disbelief, and her beautiful eyes shone with a strange light. The strength that Ji displayed once again shocked her. She suddenly felt that this youth in front of her was as mysterious as a bottomless pit, and she would never be able to see through this youth. Hope was rekindled, but Ji's profound qi was about to be overdrawn. With some difficulty, he said to Jiang Yushan, "I don't have enough profound qi in my body. I'll take out the profound returning pill from my storage ring, but I'll have to trouble you to feed it to me." As he spoke, he used his spiritual power to take out a profound returning pill from his storage ring and placed it in Jiang Yushan's hand. Jiang Yushan looked at the profound returning pill in her hand, and a strange idea suddenly appeared in her mind. She put the profound returning pill in her mouth, and a faint dark red color appeared on her delicate face. She slowly leaned towards Ji's lips. Ji, who was completely focused on escaping, didn't notice Jiang Yushan's appearance. Only when he felt a cool sensation on his lips did he realize that Jiang Yushan was actually holding the profound returning pill in her mouth and feeding it to him. In reality, Jiang Yushan and Ji's lips didn't directly touch, but even so, Ji was still shocked. Ding. Master has consumed an inferior grade 1 pill, the Xian returning pill. Xian Qi recovery effect has increased by 999 times. The moment Ji ate the profound returning pill, the profound qi in her body was instantly restored. It was also at this time that he heard the system notification that he came back to his senses. Now that he was in danger, he had no time to think about Jiang Yushan. He forced himself to focus his attention in front of him. Seeing Ji's shocked expression just now, Jiang Yushan covered her mouth and snickered, but the blush on her face showed that she was actually even more shy. Even if they didn't touch directly, it was still an indirect kiss. She didn't know why she suddenly became so bold. Originally, she just wanted to tease this guy. Ji continued to use the heaven trampling steps. Occasionally, she would turn around to look, but she could no longer see the giant python's figure clearly. Just as he was about to heave a sigh of relief, he suddenly realized that there was no road ahead. He hurriedly stopped running. In front of him was a cliff. When he looked down, he couldn't see the bottom. Ji's expression immediately became ugly. Just as he thought that he could survive, the heavens played a small joke on him. He couldn't turn around now, because behind him was that second stage giant python. In front of him was a bottomless abyss, and behind him was a powerful demonic beast that he couldn't resist. There was no way to escape now. Ji, how do we run now? Jiang Yushan anxiously asked. She also didn't expect that there would be a cliff here. Ji was silent for a moment, then he put Jiang Yushan down. Under Jiang Yushan's bewildered gaze, he fearlessly rushed down the red-striped python. Since there was no way to escape, Ji decided to fight this red-striped python to the death. He instantly flashed to the red-striped python's side, and used the 7 strength fist to smash the red-striped python's head. With a peng sound, Ji Yu shockingly discovered that his full-strength fist didn't cause any obvious damage to the red-striped python's head. He only saw a small dent. The red-striped python's reaction was extremely fast. Its bucket-sized thick tail swept towards Ji Yu's waist at an extremely fast speed. Ji Yu's pupils suddenly contracted, but because the difference in strength was too great, he couldn't dodge in time, and forcibly received the red-striped python's sweep. Pu. Ji Yu immediately felt as if his waist was cut in half, and he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His figure flew out, and directly flew over the cliff. His consciousness gradually blurred. He could only hear the system beep in his mind, but he couldn't hear Jiang Yuexin's heart-wrenching screams. Ding. Master's body has suffered heavy injuries. Basic defensive mystic skill experience gained, 9 by 999 times. Ding. Congratulations Master, basic defensive mystic skill has successfully broken through to greater heights. Ding. It has been detected that basic defensive mystic skill experience is full, automatically upgraded to the yellow rank lower mystic skill thick earth armor. Chapter 31. Ji Yu. Jiang Yuexin screamed at the top of her lungs, but she didn't hear any response from Ji Yu. She didn't hesitate to hug Ji Yu, but the impact was too strong. She couldn't stabilize her body and fell down the cliff together with him. The moment he fell down the cliff, Ji Yu suddenly woke up. He felt that the injuries on his body had healed quite a bit, and his consciousness was gradually coming back. It seemed to be because of the system's voice just now. Right at this moment, Ji Yu suddenly realized that he was carrying Jiang Yuexin in his arms, and they were falling down the cliff at an extremely fast speed. He wanted to change the direction of his body's fall, so he tried his best to lean against the cliff and reduce the speed of his fall as much as possible. Ding. Protagonist has used thick earth armor gained experience, 20 by 999 times. Ji Yu instantly used the low yellow rank defensive skill he just obtained, which could reduce the damage he received. Ding. Master's body has received damage, thick earth armor gained experience, 1 by 999 times. Ding. Master's body has received damage, thick earth armor gained experience, 1 by 999 times. Ding. Congratulations Master, the low yellow rank profound skill thick earth armor has successfully broken through to small success. With the help of the low yellow rank profound skill thick earth armor, Ji Yu's back had been rubbing against the cliff, but he didn't receive too much damage. At most, it was just some superficial wounds. Right at this moment, he suddenly saw a huge rock protruding not far from him. He could land on it. Ji Yu immediately used his hand to press down on Jiang Yuexin's head, and slightly curled up his body. Jiang Yuexin was stunned for a moment. Although Ji Yu's actions were a bit rough, that warm chest made her feel at ease. She could almost hear Ji Yu's heartbeat, which made her heart beat faster. When he was about to fall onto that huge rock, Ji Yu immediately used thick earth armor in an attempt to reduce his injuries. With a peng sound, Ji Yu's back fell onto the rock. Other than a slight pain on his back, he didn't receive too much damage. But his waist that was heavily injured by the red-patterned giant python was very painful, making it difficult for him to get up. The waist was the core of the human body, so every movement would affect the waist. Thus, Ji Yu's back was lying on the rock without any movement to avoid unnecessary pain. Jiang Yuexin got up from Ji Yu's embrace. Looking at Ji Yu's pale face, she could not help but laugh as she cried, "You're really a hopeless bastard. Let me rest a bit first." Ji Yu felt extremely exhausted. A wave of drowsiness hit her and she gradually closed her eyes. Wait. Jiang Yuexin immediately turned pale with fright and shook Ji Yu's shoulder. "You mustn't die." Jiang Yuexin's shaking and the constant system notifications in his mind woke Ji Yu up. Right now, his body was still very weak, so Jiang Yuexin's shaking could cause slight damage to him. He immediately opened his eyes and bitterly smiled. "Stop shaking, I'm not dead yet. If you keep shaking me like this, I'll really die from you." Jiang Yuexin realized that she was in the wrong. She immediately apologized. "I'm sorry. I just need to rest a bit, I'm too tired right now." Ji Yu guessed that Jiang Yuexin had misunderstood him, so he immediately explained. Too many things had happened before, and his waist was heavily injured. Right now, he was both mentally and physically exhausted. Okay. Jiang Yushin nodded as she wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes. Seeing that Jiang Yuxin's emotions had stabilized, Ji Yu immediately closed his eyes and continued to rest. Jiang Yushin looked at Ji Yu's sleeping face, and her heart suddenly skipped a beat. Her face suddenly turned slightly red, and she slowly moved closer to Ji Yu's face. She gently held Ji Yu's head with her hands, placed her legs under the back of Ji Yu's head, and then slowly placed the back of Ji Yu's head on her thighs. Chapter 32. After an unknown amount of time, Ji Yu gradually woke up from his sleep. The moment he regained consciousness, he suddenly felt a warm and soft sensation at the back of his head. It was as if he was lying on a comfortable pillow, but he didn't know why, but there was also a warm sensation. He slowly opened his eyes, and the first thing he saw was a long and slender leg. At this moment, Ji Yu couldn't help but be stunned. For a moment, he couldn't react to what had just happened. Then he turned his head and found that he was lying on Jiang Yuxin's lap. He slightly frowned and carefully thought about it. He didn't remember doing this before he fell asleep. Could it be that he climbed onto her lap after he fell asleep? The hell? Thinking of this, Ji Yu couldn't remain calm. At the same time, Jiang Yushin, who was originally dozing off, felt her leg itch. Then she found that Ji Yu had woken up. Ji Yu, you're finally awake. Jiang Yushin was overjoyed. Seeing Jiang Yuxin's expression, Ji Yu's first reaction was to be very surprised. Logically speaking, Jiang Yushin should be embarrassed and angry to see him lying on her lap, right? However, Ji Yu didn't say anything and sat up with a calm expression. He could still feel the pain from his waist. It was probably an internal injury that was difficult to heal, but at least it was much better than before. Speaking of which, here, just as Ji Yu was about to ask something, she suddenly saw a pitch-black cave behind her. He looked at the grey sky again and helplessly said, "It seems that we can only spend the night in this cave." Spend the night. Realizing that she and Ji Yu were going to spend the night in a dark cave, Jiang Yushin couldn't help but let her imagination run wild. He saw her face become redder and redder, and soon it became as red as an apple. However, perhaps Ji Yu didn't notice it, or perhaps she didn't care at all. She continued to walk into the cave. Let's explore the entire cave first, in case we get ambushed by demonic beasts while we sleep at night. Yes. Although Jiang Yushin was very shy, she could only follow Ji Yu inside. There was no light in the cave. The later Ji Yu and Jiang Yushin walked in, the darker the surroundings became. In the end, they couldn't see anything clearly. "Do you have anything on you that can give off light?" "It's too dark in here," Jiang Yushin said timidly, grabbing Ji Yu's sleeve with one hand. "What's wrong? You're already so old and you're still afraid of the dark." Ji Yu couldn't help but complain. "How is that possible? I'm just not used to it," Jiang Yushin said stubbornly, but her slightly trembling legs betrayed her. Ji Yu shrugged helplessly and said, "I don't have anything on me that gives off light. Just follow me carefully and don't spread out." "Yes," Jiang Yushin whispered. She didn't look anywhere. She just grabbed Ji Yu's sleeve and followed Ji Yu closely. Suddenly, a drop of water fell from above. Ji Yu's consciousness was very sharp. He instantly noticed this drop of water. Although he knew that this drop of water was completely harmless, he still subconsciously tilted his head, completely avoiding this drop of water. Drip. In the next moment, only the sound of water falling to the ground could be heard. The sound should have been very soft, but in this silent cave, it was very loud. Yi. Coincidentally, this drop of water fell in front of Jiang Yuxin's feet. She thought that something was going to attack her and immediately screamed. Not only that, she also subconsciously hugged Ji Yu tightly. "It's just a drop of water, what are you afraid of?" Ji Yu said somewhat speechlessly. Chapter 33. At this time, Jiang Yushin finally realized that it was indeed the sound of water droplets. At the same time, she also realized her posture and hurriedly separated herself from Ji Yu's back. I don't feel any demonic aura nearby. Let's continue walking, Ji said and continued to walk forward. En. Jiang Yushin grabbed her lapel with one hand and Ji's sleeve with the other. After walking for an unknown period of time, Ji suddenly felt a gust of wind blowing in front of him. His expression suddenly changed, and he quickened his pace in the direction of the gust of wind. Not only that, Ji also felt a surge of mystical aura in his palm. If something bad were to happen, he would be able to react immediately. Hey! Wait for me. Suddenly realizing that Ji had quickened his pace, Jiang Yushin was afraid that she would lose him, so she also quickened her pace. After walking for a while, Ji saw a ray of light not far in front of him. The scene in front of him gradually became brighter. He saw that there was an open stone door in front of him, and the light was shining out from the gap in the stone door. Ji pushed open the stone door with force, and his eyes suddenly opened up. What appeared in front of him was a huge space. It looked like an underground world of its own. It was about 60 to 70 feet high, and its length and width could not be estimated with the naked eye. In this underground world, there were flowers, grass, trees, rivers, some pavilions, and many stone paths, as well as a simple stone house. Hualala, he could hear the sound of water splashing in the river, and there were many fishes playing in the river. The surrounding trees were in picturesque disorder, and it was a scene full of vitality. There was also a pavilion outside the small stone house, and that pavilion had a stone table and stone chairs. There was also an old teapot and several teacups on the stone table. Ji looked at the strange scene in front of him, and his expression gradually became vigilant. He did not dare to act rashly. This place is so beautiful. Jiang Yushin, who was following behind him, couldn't help but exclaim. Ji made a gesture to Jiang Yushin. Keep your voice down. It's very likely that someone lives here. The reason why he didn't go in rashly was because he was afraid that there might be some reclusive old monster living in seclusion here. If he rashly barged into someone else's residence, that person would definitely be disgusted. He first looked around, but didn't see anyone. Then, he shouted, "Is there anyone here?" After a long time, there was still no response. "Is there anyone here?" Ji asked a few more times, but no one responded. He could only hear his own voice echoing in the cave. His eyes flickered slightly as he cautiously walked into this underground world. At the same time, he was mentally prepared. Seeing Ji walking in, Jiang Yushin followed him carefully. Ji walked straight to that small stone house. If there was someone, that person would definitely be in that small stone house. He walked over and lightly knocked on the stone door. After a long time, no one responded, so he simply pushed open the stone door. After looking around, he found that there was no one in this small stone house. This small stone house was about the same size as the thatched cottage he lived in. Apart from some very simple tools, there seemed to be nothing else. Is there anything in there? At this time, Jiang Yushin's small head suddenly poked in and asked softly. Nothing special. There should be no one in this underground world for a long time. Ji shook his head and said. Then, he looked up and saw a portrait hanging on the wall. There was a peerless beauty in the portrait. Her white hair fluttered in the wind, and her eyes flickered with a dark light. She was surrounded by a monstrous aura, like a peerless demoness. It was just a portrait, but Ji couldn't help but be stunned. Although the woman in the portrait was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen since he came to this world, even Yu Shuyun and Jiang Yushin were slightly inferior to her. In fact, he was not stunned because he was obsessed with the woman in the portrait, but because of the notification from the system. Ding! Master has seen the portrait of the 7th demoness, triggering 999 times comprehension ability. Ding! Congratulations, Master. You have successfully comprehended the first volume of the King-level cultivation technique Sky Splitter. You can break the heavenly Tao and see the secret. At this moment, a lot of knowledge about Sky Splitter appeared in Ji's mind. He was stunned at first, then he was wild with joy. From what he knew, there were only 4 levels of cultivation techniques: yellow, black, earth, and heaven. Now, there was actually a King-level cultivation technique, and it sounded very awesome. This king-level cultivation technique must be above the heaven level. Just by looking at the portrait, he could comprehend a king-level cultivation technique that was higher than the heaven level. No one else could do this. At this time, Jiang Yushin pouted and said, "A certain guy is almost drooling after looking at a portrait. How embarrassing." Chapter 34. Ji Yu couldn't help but be speechless. He didn't know how to explain, so he simply didn't explain. After all, he couldn't say that he lost his composure because he obtained a king stage cultivation method. Anyway, there's no one in this underground world. Let's stay here temporarily until we think of a way to get out. Ji Yu returned to the topic at hand. In fact, he had a way to get out, and that was to climb up the cliff at the entrance of the cave. However, his waist injury was serious and he couldn't move much, let alone climb up the cliff with Jiang Yushin on his back. "Then I'll go wash up first." Jiang Yushin was no longer stubborn about Ji Yu's obsession with the portrait. She walked out of the small stone house to find the river. After being tormented for half a day today, she was now covered in dust, which made her very uncomfortable. Ji Yu continued to look at the portrait on the wall, trying to see if he could get any other good things. After a while, the system didn't send out any more notifications. It seemed that it was useless. That's true. One can't be too greedy. A king stage cultivation method is already abnormal enough. Ji Yu shook his head and smiled. Next, he prepared to flip through the relevant knowledge in his mind to see how awesome this king stage cultivation method Sky Splitter was. He found the knowledge related to Sky Splitter in his mind and immediately read it. After a few minutes, Ji Yu finally understood. This Sky Splitter was indeed a king stage cultivation method that was higher than the heaven stage. However, he only had the first volume. Simply speaking, it was a fragment. He didn't know how many more volumes there were. However, it was fortunate that this was the first volume. At least it could be used for cultivation. If it was the second or third volume, it would be equivalent to a piece of trash. A secret manual without a beginning and an end couldn't be cultivated at all. The so-called Sky Splitter was to break the heavenly Tao. Once he mastered the first level of Sky Splitter, he could break free from part of the heavenly Tao's shackles. The speed of mystical qi absorption would directly double, and the quality of mystical qi in the body would also improve. While Ji Yu was reading the knowledge in his mind, the system's notifications kept ringing. Ding! Master has taken a look at the first volume of the King Stage Cultivation Method Sky Splitter and triggered 999 times comprehension ability. Ding! Congratulations, Master! You've successfully comprehended the first level of the King Stage Cultivation Technique, Heaven Splitter. Was that even possible? Ji Yu was once again shocked by the awesomeness of the system. Even if it was a King Tier cultivation technique, he could instantly comprehend it with a single glance. Who else in this world could be more awesome than him? At this time, Ji Yu was ready to try and see if her cultivation speed had really doubled. He sat cross-legged on the stone bed and entered a state of cultivation. Ding! Master has cultivated martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation EXP gained, 2 by 999 times. Sure enough, when he heard the system notification, he knew that his cultivation speed had indeed increased. Intuitively speaking, it was the effect of his cultivation. Right now, I've only just learned it. Even if it's only the first tier, there should be higher realms after this. Let's see if my knowledge will improve. With that thought in mind, Ji Yu continued to read the knowledge about sky splitting in her mind. Ding! Master has watched sky splitting for 1 minute. Sky splitting EXP gained, 1 by 999 times. Ding! Master has watched sky splitting for 1 minute. Sky splitting EXP gained, 1 by 999 times. Sure enough, the first tier of sky splitting could still increase one's realm. Then, when he broke through to the minor success realm, the cultivation effect should still increase. Ji Yu continued to read the knowledge, trying to break through to the minor success realm of the first tier of sky splitting. But after a long time, the realm of sky splitting did not move at all. However, this was considered normal. After all, it was a king stage cultivation technique. It was indeed not so easy to break through the realm. Since the efficiency of watching was too slow, Jiyu planned to try circulating the cultivation technique to see if the efficiency would be faster. Chapter 35. Ding. Master has activated Sky Splitter. Sky Splitter gained experience. 10,000 *999 ek. It was obvious that the efficiency of activating the technique was 10,000 times better than just looking at it. Jiyu finally understood that if he wanted to increase the level of this king level technique, the most efficient way was to activate the technique. However, activating the king level technique consumed too much Shen Qi. After only 2 activations, all the Shen Qi in his body was depleted. He could only take out a Shen Qi pill from his storage ring and consume it. Ding. Master has consumed an inferior level 1 pill Shen Qi pill. Shen Qi recovery effect increased by 999 times. After consuming the Shen Qi pill, Jiyu's Shen Qi was instantly restored. He immediately continued to activate the Sky Splitter. After activating the Sky Splitter twice, Jiyu's Shen Qi was once again depleted. Now, he only had 1 Shen Qi pill left in his storage ring, which meant that he could only activate the Sky Splitter twice. He felt that he couldn't break through the first layer of the Sky Splitter to the initial success stage so quickly, so he temporarily gave up. After consuming the last Shen Qi pill, the Shen Qi in his body was once again restored. However, this time, Jiyu didn't continue to activate the Sky Splitter. He planned to refine more Shen Qi recovery pills after leaving this place, and then slowly cultivate this king-level technique. At the same time, Jiang Yushin had just finished washing the stains on her body and returned. Jiyu, I'm hungry. Do you have any food on you? Jiang Yushin asked as soon as she walked into the small stone hut. How could I carry food with me? Jiyu shook his head and said. Then what should we do? I don't have any food in my storage ring, and now we can't leave. Are we going to starve to death here? Jiang Yushin said with a melancholy expression. Of course not. Aren't there fish in the river outside? Those fish can be used as food. Jiyu pointed at the river not far from the small stone hut and said. Fish? So you can roast fish? Jiang Yushin asked in surprise. She did not expect Jiyu to be so capable. I'm sorry, but I don't know how to roast fish. I can only say that I'll try my best. Jiyu shrugged. You don't know how to roast fish? Jiang Yushin was speechless. She was surprised that this guy had some skills, but it turned out that she was overthinking things. At this time, Jiyu also felt a little hungry. She immediately said, Let's go. I'll catch some fish and roast it. We have to try it first. All right. Jiang Yushin followed behind Jiyu. In fact, she didn't have much hope for the grilled fish. Jiyu walked to the riverside and looked at the fish swimming in the river. She quickly reached out and caught them. Ding. Master caught a fish. Basic claw skill experience gained. 1 by 999 times. Ding. Congratulations, Master. Your basic claw technique has successfully broken through to the greater perfection stage. Ding. Detected that your basic claw technique experience is full. Automatically upgraded to the low yellow rank Swift Shadow Claw. This. Jiyu did not expect that even catching a fish would give him a claw skill. But since he obtained a low yellow rank claw skill, he naturally had to make good use of it. Ding. Master used Swift Shadow Claw. Swift Shadow Claw experience gained. 20 by 999 times. Jiyu tried to use the low yellow rank Swift Shadow Claw and very quickly caught another fish. Using a mystical skill to catch fish, only Jiyu would be so extravagant. Reality proved that this claw skill was indeed good for catching fish. It was fast and accurate, and he did not lack that bit of mystical chi. Jiyu continued to use the Swift Shadow Claw and used it to catch fish. Ding. Congratulations, Master. The low yellow rank mystical skill Swift Shadow Claw has successfully broken through to the small success stage. Using the claw skill and movement technique, in just a few seconds, Jiyu had already caught more than 10 fish and threw them onto the riverside. Even though Jiang Yushin knew that Jiyu's true strength was very mysterious, she was still shocked by this scene. Jiyu said, All right, that's more or less enough. I'll go and try to grill the fish. Chapter 36. Ji-yu returned to the shore and used his hands to chop some branches. He only chopped off some of the branches and did not hurt the trunk of the trees. This way, the trees could continue to grow. Relying on the strength of a peak 9th level body tempering cultivator, he casually chopped off a branch. Ding. Master has chopped with a palm, basic palm technique obtained experience, 1 by 999 times. Ding. Congratulations Master, basic palm technique has successfully broken through to the greater mastery stage. Ding. Detected that basic palm technique experience is full, automatically upgraded to wind-shattering palm, low-grade yellow rank profound skill. It was like this again, but Ji-yu was already used to it. To be able to obtain a low-grade yellow rank palm technique by chopping off a branch, to this system, it was no longer a miraculous thing. After that, Ji-yu simply used this low-grade yellow rank palm technique to chop off the branches. As usual, it was faster and more convenient. After chopping off many branches in a short while, Ji-yu's wind-shattering palm also broke through to the lesser mastery stage. Ji-yu immediately placed the branches beside the dozen or so fish by the river and started a fire. While the fire was burning, he used a small knife to first thin the remaining branches, then cleaned the fish's scales and directly cut open the fish's intestines. This kind of fish in the river must be cleaned, otherwise, when roasted and smoked, there would be a mixed smell. At this time, Ji-yu suddenly thought of something and said with a slightly regretful expression, "Speaking of which, we don't have any seasonings, the roasted fish later will be tasteless and will be a bit unpalatable." "Well, whatever, I feel that it's already not bad if you don't roast the fish later." Obviously, Jiang Yushin did not believe in Ji-yu's skills. Ji-yu was immediately dissatisfied. "Although it's my first time trying, it's not as bad as you say. Watch carefully later. Then this young lady will watch carefully. If you can't roast the fish well, you will be this young lady's servant for a day and obey me no matter what. How about it?" Jiang Yushin smiled proudly. "Sure, but if I don't spoil the fish, you'll be my maid for a day. No matter what, you have to obey me. Do you dare?" Ji-yu said with a mocking expression. Hearing this, Jiang Yushin was stunned. Then, she thought of something that was not suitable for children. She didn't feel anything when she said it, but when it came from someone else, especially a man, she felt that something was wrong. However, her dignity as the second miss of the City Lord Manor did not allow her to lower her head in front of Ji-yu. Jiang Yushin blushed as if she was ready to throw caution to the wind. "What is there that I don't dare to do?" "It's settled then. You said it yourself." Ji-yu skewered each fish from head to tail with a wooden skewer. 2 branches were placed on each side of the firewood pile, and then the roasted fish could be fixed at the intersection. Although Ji-yu had never grilled fish before, she still knew how to grill it. During the grilling process, she kept rolling the fish to prevent it from burning. Under the burning of the fire, the skin of the fish quickly turned a charred yellow. Gradually, she could smell the fragrance of the fish. At this moment, Jiang Yushin had a bad feeling. It seemed that Ji-yu was almost done grilling the fish. In other words, she had to. During the grilling process, Ji-yu did not add any more firewood. Gradually, charcoal appeared. Next was the smoking of the fish. The smell of the smoke of the charcoal gradually seeped into the fish that was almost done grilling. Finally, when the fish oil dripped down, the grilled fish was done. "It's done. Try it first." Ji-yu handed the grilled fish to Jiang Yushin. Then, she went to grill another fish. Jiang Yushin silently took the grilled fish from Ji-yu. She could not help but let her imagination run wild as she looked at the bright yellow grilled fish that was crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. This grilled fish was undoubtedly a success. After that, she would have to obey this guy's request, no matter what it was. When the time came, if it was something embarrassing, she wouldn't be able to resist. Jiang Yushin immediately blushed. She stole a glance at Ji-yu and found that Ji-yu was almost done grilling the second fish. Chapter 37. Not long after, the second fish was done roasting. This one was Ji-yu's, so he immediately tasted it. Ding! Master has eaten a piece of fish meat that contains mystic energy. Martial Dao experience gained, 20 by 999 times. A notification came from the system as soon as he took the first bite. Jiyu couldn't help but be slightly stunned. This fish meat contained mystic energy. Although he didn't know why, this was a very big surprise to him. The cultivation experience gained from eating a piece of fish meat was equivalent to him cultivating for 10 minutes. Eating an entire fish was equivalent to him eating dozens of gradeless pills. Moreover, there were still many fish that hadn't been roasted yet. Jiang Yushin. At this moment, Jiyu called out. Hey! Jiang Yushin was still thinking about those embarrassing things when Jiyu suddenly called out her name. She immediately panicked. Speaking of which, do you feel anything different in this fish meat? Jiyu asked. What's the difference? After hearing Jiyu's words, Jiang Yushin realized that this fish meat was indeed a little strange. After tasting it carefully, her eyes widened. There seems to be mystic energy in this fish meat. That's right. That's why you can absorb the mystic energy while eating. Don't waste it. The reason why Jiyu said this was to remind Jiang Yushin. After all, Jiang Yushin couldn't directly obtain 999 times cultivation experience from the system like him. Even if she ate the fish meat, she had to absorb it well to use the mystic energy in it. After that, Jiyu continued to eat the fish meat. Although there was no seasoning to add, Jiyu still felt that the fish was roasted quite well. The fish itself wasn't big, so he quickly finished the entire fish. He could feel that his cultivation had increased a lot compared to before, but he still couldn't break through to the peak of the 9th level of the body tempering realm so quickly. Jiyu wasn't in a hurry and continued to roast the fish unhurriedly. In the end, Jiyu ate 3 roasted fish, while Jiang Yushin ate 2. Alright, now that we're full, it's time to get down to business. Jiyu stood up and looked at Jiang Yushin with a smile. Serious business? Jiang Yushin suddenly panicked. She lowered her head and pinched Nini with both hands. You said earlier that if I didn't spoil the fish, you would be my maid for a day. Seeing that Jiang Yushin was silent, Jiyu thought that Jiang Yushin was going to break the contract. I will do it. Bring it on. Jiang Yushin took a deep breath. She was going for broke. She shyly used her hands to slowly unbutton her clothes. Is it hot here? Why don't you take a breather here first and clean up the small stone house later? Seeing this, Jiyu asked in confusion. Hey! Jiang Yushin was stunned. Her hands that were unbuttoning her clothes also stopped in mid-air. What's wrong? Jiyu asked. That's all. Jiang Yushin said in a daze. Yes, that's all. If you think it's not enough, you can also clean up the area around the small stone house. Jiyu said, then I'll go back and cultivate first. Then Jiyu walked back to the small stone house, leaving Jiang Yushin sitting there in a daze. Her face became redder and redder. She wanted to dig a hole and bury herself in it. In the end, it was all her wishful thinking. After returning to the small stone house, Jiyu immediately sat on the bed and began to cultivate Xian Qi. Because he had comprehended the first layer of the king-level cultivation method Skysplitter, he could get double the effect of cultivating Xian Qi. Naturally, he had to cultivate more. Chapter 38. At night, Jiang Yushin followed Jiyu's instructions and cleaned the small stone house inside and out. After she was done, Jiang Yushin sat on a stone chair in the house and looked at Jiyu, who was sitting on the bed with his eyes closed. She couldn't help but fall into deep thought. This youth was the most peculiar man she had ever seen in her life. At this moment, she recalled the matter of her undressing and couldn't help but want to ridicule this guy if there was something wrong with him. She had already gone to that extent. She wasn't sure if this guy really didn't understand or if he did it on purpose. Could it be that she wasn't attractive enough to this guy? This was the first time Jiang Yushin was not confident in her appearance. She had never been like this in the past, so she didn't know what was wrong with her today. At the same time, Jiyu was still cultivating his profound qi. Ding. Master has practiced martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation experience gained, 2 by 999 times. Ding. Master has practiced martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation experience gained, 2 by 999 times. At this moment, Ji Yu could feel that he had already filled half of the huge pit of the peak 9th level of the body tempering stage. Just half more and he would be able to break through to the perfection stage of the 9th level of the body tempering stage. However, in the next moment, he stopped cultivating because it was already late and it was time to sleep. Just as he opened his eyes, he saw Jiang Yushin staring at him with an indescribable expression. He was puzzled for a while and couldn't help but point at his face and ask curiously, Is there something dirty on my face? Ji Yu's sudden voice gave Jiang Yushin a fright, but she quickly calmed down. There's nothing. Ji Yu still had a puzzled expression, but he didn't continue to ask. I'm about to go to sleep. You see if you want to sleep on the inside or outside. Ji Yu immediately started talking about serious matters. I'll sleep on the inside, you sleep on the outside. Jiang Yushin said indifferently. This time, however, her heart was as calm as still water because she could clearly see that this guy was a blockhead and definitely wouldn't do anything to her. Thinking of this, she felt an inexplicable sense of sorrow. Then I'll go to sleep first. Make yourself at home. After that, Ji Yu lay down on the side of the bed and fell asleep. After that, Jiang Yushin also climbed onto the inner side of the stone bed and lay down. The moment she laid down, she had an indescribable feeling. This was her first time lying on the same bed with a man. Even if the other party was a blockhead, she still felt a little shy. She couldn't calm down, so she didn't sleep well the entire night. The next morning, Ji Yu was woken up by her biological clock. Seeing that Jiang Yushin hadn't woken up yet, Ji Yu didn't intend to wake her up. She quietly walked out of the small stone house. At this moment, Ji Yu subconsciously stretched. The moment he stretched out his hand, he suddenly remembered that his waist was still injured. Stretching like this would definitely hurt him to death. Hey! Just as Ji Yu was about to withdraw his hand, he realized that the pain in his waist wasn't as intense as it was yesterday. He tried to stretch his waist and felt that it was only slightly painful. What's going on? How did the injury heal so quickly? Ji Yu immediately felt that it was a bit strange. He clearly didn't do anything, but the injury on his waist had already healed a lot. Wait a minute. If I have to say something, it's that I ate those roasted fish yesterday. At this moment, Ji Yu suddenly thought of those roasted fish yesterday. Although it was a bit inconceivable, he didn't come into contact with anything else other than those roasted fish. If those roasted fish really had the effect of healing injuries, then he would be able to leave this underground world very soon. Why don't I try roasting a few more fish? Ji Yu thought to himself and immediately began to act. In order to avoid wasting, Ji Yu only caught 4 fish this time. Then, as usual, he chopped a lot of branches with his bare hands. While chopping the branches, Ji Yu strangely discovered that the branches that he chopped off yesterday had all grown back. The self-recovery ability of these trees is actually that strong. Ji Yu couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. At this moment, he suddenly had a flash of inspiration. Could it be that the injury on his waist healed so quickly because he ate the roasted fish made from these branches? He felt that it was most likely the case. The self-recovery ability of these branches was so strong that it couldn't be unrelated. Chapter 39. Then, just like yesterday, he placed most of the branches on the fire. Then, he crossed 2 branches on each side of the fire and used a small knife to cut the remaining branches into wooden skewers. He cut open the fish and washed it 2 or 3 times. Then, he skewered the fish and began to roast them one by one. He ate 1 fish after roasting it. He didn't want to eat too much early in the morning, so he only ate 2 roasted fish. After eating 2 whole roasted fish, Ji Yu began to roast the 3rd fish for Jiang Yushin. Just as he was about to wake Jiang Yushin up after roasting this fish, Jiang Yushin's voice sounded. Ji Yu, are you roasting fish? Jiang Yushin rubbed her eyes and walked out of the small stone house sleepily. She was like a confused kitten that was attracted by the smell of roasted fish. "You're awake. This fish will be done soon," Ji Yu said as he rolled the fish. Jiang Yushin went to the river to wash up and then sat down by the fire. She looked at Ji Yu roasting fish for her and felt warm in her heart. At this moment, Ji Yu spoke again. "Speaking of which, I realized that the branches here have very strong self-healing abilities. After eating the fish roasted with the branches, the injury on my waist healed quite a bit overnight." Hearing this, Jiang Yushin opened her mouth slightly, but she did not say anything. Ji Yu continued, "If nothing unexpected happens, we can leave this place by tomorrow at the latest." At this time, Jiang Yushin couldn't hold it in anymore. She said with a struggling expression, "Do we have to leave this place?" She lowered her head slightly, and there was a trace of sadness in her expression. Seeing this, Ji Yu was a little concerned. "What's wrong with you?" "Nothing." Jiang Yushin was silent for a moment. Then, she sighed in her heart and said to Ji Yu with a smile, "When you're better, we'll leave this place." In Ji Yu's eyes, this smile was very forced. This made him even more concerned. Jiang Yushin obviously had some difficulties, but he couldn't figure it out. It was obvious that Jiang Yushin didn't want to reveal it, so he didn't plan to ask. "The fish is ready. Hurry up and eat." Ji Yu changed the topic, and the heavy atmosphere immediately lightened up. Jiang Yushin took the skewer of grilled fish and began to eat. Her mood gradually improved. After dealing with the roasted fish, Ji Yu continued to cultivate her profound qi. After half a day had passed, Ji Yu still felt that she was too far away from breaking through to the perfection stage of the 9th level of the body tempering stage. The speed of cultivating Xian Qi is really too slow. It's better to wait until we get out of here and take some pills to break through. Ji Yu murmured. It was almost noon now. He left his cultivation state and continued to roast fish outside to recover as soon as possible. After filling his stomach, he returned to his room to cultivate. However, he temporarily gave up on cultivating Xian Qi. Instead, he began to read the knowledge of the king rank cultivation method Sky Splitter in his mind. Occasionally, he would circulate the Sky Splitter. Because circulating the cultivation method once would consume more than half of his Xian Qi, he would change to reading the knowledge after circulating the cultivation method once. When the Xian Qi in his body had recovered, he would continue to circulate the cultivation method. This repeated cycle was the most efficient. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The first layer of the King Rank Cultivation Method Sky Splitter has successfully broken through to the initial success stage. Another half a day passed. Ji Yu finally broke through to the initial success stage of the first layer of the Sky Splitter. Logically speaking, as one broke through to the next level, the effect of cultivation would also improve. Ji Yu immediately prepared to start cultivating Xian Qi to see how much the effect of cultivation had improved. Chapter 40. Ding. Master cultivated martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation gained experience, 4 by 999 times. It could be heard that the effect of the cultivation had doubled again. Compared to the beginning, it had quadrupled. Ji Yu was quite satisfied with this kind of cultivation effect. At night, he ate roasted fish with Jiang Yushin. Then, he continued to cultivate Xian Qi and finally fell asleep. It was a new day. The first thing Ji Yu did when he woke up was to check the injury on his waist. He found that it had recovered a lot compared to yesterday. Basically, this injury was nothing more than a minor injury to him, which meant that he could get out of this place. After Jiang Yushin woke up, Ji Yu roasted fish for the last time. After eating the roasted fish, Ji Yu hesitated for a moment. Then, he said to Jiang Yushin, "My injury is almost healed. We can go out now." "Okay." This time, Jiang Yushin did not show the same expression as yesterday. She nodded calmly. Ji Yu took a deep look at Jiang Yushin. Then, he got up and walked toward the exit of the underground world, which was also the entrance. Jiang Yushin followed behind Ji Yu without saying a word. There was no emotion on her face. At the same time, no one knew what she was thinking. At this time, Ji Yu was walking in the dark cave. Jiang Yushin followed him while holding the corner of his clothes like last time. After a long time, they arrived at the entrance of the cave. Looking at this familiar place, Ji Yu couldn't help but feel a little emotional. Fortunately, he fell here. Otherwise, he would definitely die if he fell to the bottom of the cliff. Ji Yu looked up and found that it was quite difficult to climb up from here. It was very far away. He stretched his muscles and said to Jiang Yushin, "Come, get on my back. I'll climb up later." Jiang Yushin was stunned. After a while, she reacted and said in surprise, "You want to climb up directly from here? What else can I do? I don't have any other choice. Let's go." Ji Yu said helplessly. "Okay." Jiang Yushin walked over and lay on Ji Yu's back. Then, she wrapped her arms around Ji Yu's neck. "Hold on tight. Don't fall down later," Ji Yu reminded him. Then, like a gecko, he began to climb the cliff. However, this speed was too slow. He wanted to use his movement skill to see if it could increase his speed. After using the heaven ascending steps, Ji Yu's climbing speed on the cliff became much faster. At the same time, Jiang Yueshin's hands wrapped tightly around Ji Yu's neck. Seeing that this was effective, Ji Yu continued to use his movement skill to climb up. Using his movement skill, Ji Yu soon reached the top. Then, he put Jiang Yushin down. "I'm finally here." Ji Yu exhaled and wiped the non-existent sweat on his forehead. "What do you plan to do next?" Jiang Yushin suddenly asked. "Of course I'm going home. You've already picked that purple sungrass." Ji Yu said matter-of-factly. "That's not what I meant." Jiang Yushin hesitated for a while. Then, she said, "Why don't you stay at the City Lord's mansion for a while? That way, you'll be safer." "That won't be necessary." Ji Yu shook his head slightly. He could tell that Jiang Yushin was doing this for his own good. She wanted him to stay at the City Lord's mansion temporarily so that he wouldn't be threatened by the Chen family and the Lin family. However, he had his own ideas. It wasn't that he didn't trust Jiang Yushin. It was just that he didn't know the exact situation at the City Lord's mansion. "Forget it. Do whatever you want. I won't care about you anymore." Jiang Yushin looked a little angry. She was being nice to this guy, but he was unwilling. Although she didn't know how this guy offended the Chen family, it wasn't just the Chen family. Even the Lin family didn't seem to have a good relationship with this guy. If he offended two big families in Chaoyang Ancient City at the same time, normal people wouldn't be able to survive in Chaoyang Ancient City. Moreover, this guy was a lone warrior. If this guy was willing to stay at the City Lord's mansion temporarily, then she wouldn't have to worry about the Chen family and the Lin family. "Let's not talk about this anymore. Let's go first." Ji Yu said, "Why don't I leave first? You can go back by yourself." After saying that, he strode forward in large strides. "You bastard. Don't walk so fast." Jiang Yushin immediately chased after him. They were close to the inner area. They might encounter more second-rank beasts like before. If she went back by herself, it would be very dangerous. Hearing Jiang Yueshin's tone, Ji Yu felt a little relieved. Chapter 41. Along the way, the two of them encountered many demonic beasts. Fortunately, they didn't encounter any second-rank demonic beasts, which were easily dealt with by Ji Yu. Not only that, his movement technique Heaven Trampling Steps had broken through to the Impeccable Realm, and his fist technique Stonebreaking Fist had broken through to the Mastery Realm. All the demonic beasts that he killed were cut off the more valuable materials. Now, his storage ring was almost filled with demonic beast materials. After a long time, Ji Yu and Jiang Yuning arrived at the entrance of Chaoyang Ancient City. "Are you sure you don't want to go to the City Lord Mansion with me?" Jiang Yushin was a little worried about Ji Yu, so she asked again. "I'm sure." At this time, Ji Yu had already put on a black robe to cover his face. Jiang Yushin sighed slightly. "All right then, but if there's any danger, you must come to me." "I know." Ji Yu nodded slightly. After that, he parted ways with Jiang Yushin. Jiang Yushin returned to the City Lord Mansion, while he left for the Chaoyang branch. Not long after, Ji Yu walked to the Chaoyang branch. He didn't show his face, only showing his alchemist badge, and someone immediately came to receive him. "Sir, what do you need?" The person who came to receive him was a woman he had never seen before. "I want to sell some demonic beast materials," Ji Yu said lightly. "Please follow me, sir." The receptionist then led Ji Yu to the trading area. Soon, Ji Yu arrived at the trading area. He threw out all the demonic beast materials in his storage ring, which shocked everyone present. How many demonic beasts did this person kill? He's definitely an expert. I even saw the materials of a first-rank 9th-rank demonic beast. Maybe he's a defensive mystic realm expert. This is too cruel. All the demonic beasts I've killed in the past year don't add up to the amount he has. The attention of the surrounding people who were trading was attracted as they exclaimed, "How much are these worth in total?" Even the people in charge of the transaction were stunned. Only when Ji Yu spoke did they come back to their senses. "Please wait a moment, sir. We have to settle the accounts." Ji Yu quietly waited at the side. After a long time, that person opened his mouth and said, "Mister, the total value of these materials is 3,800 gold coins." Ji Yu nodded slightly and said, "Then transfer it into this white card for me." As he spoke, he took out a white card from his storage ring. This was the white card that Jiang Yushin gave him last time. It was something called a business card, which was equivalent to a virtual gold coin transaction. "Yes, sir." Seeing that the black-robed man in front of him actually had a white business card, that person's attitude suddenly became more respectful. After a while, Ji Yu's white merchant card had an extra 3,800 gold coins. In addition to Jiang Yuxin's debt, there was now a total of 5,800 gold coins in it. These gold coins were enough for him to buy a lot of materials to refine elixirs. "Then I'll have to trouble you to help me choose some alchemy materials, especially materials specially used to refine second-grade elixirs. The total value should not exceed 5,800 gold coins," Ji Yu said. That person was immediately overjoyed and hurriedly went to choose the materials. During this time, the surrounding people constantly exclaimed, 5,800 gold coins in one go, how generous. However, Ji Yu did not care about the surrounding exclamations at all. After a while, that person came back with a large pile of materials. "Mister, these are the materials needed to refine second-grade elixirs. The total value is 5,500 gold coins, please take a look." Hearing that person's words, Ji Yu casually glanced at it a few times, then took out a token and showed it to that person. "Superior Grade 1 Alchemist Badge. Then I'll give Mr. 5,225 gold coins." That person immediately said. As long as one was a first-grade alchemist, they would be able to get a 95% discount on anything they bought at the Chaoyang branch. Therefore, that person immediately changed the price. After deducting 5,225 gold coins, Ji Yu's white card now had 575 gold coins left. After putting away the materials for the second-grade pills into his storage ring, Lin Fan left the Chaoyang branch and returned to the Lin mansion. Just as Ji Yu walked to the entrance of the Lin family's mansion, he suddenly realized that the security of the Lin mansion was much tighter than usual. There were twice as many guards at the entrance as usual. "Hey, you over there, take off your black robes." Just as he was about to enter the Lin mansion, the leading guard suddenly called out to him. Then, the other guards surrounded him, making it impossible for him to enter or leave. The leader of the guards gave a look to one of his companions, who quickly walked into the Lin mansion. Then, the leader of the guards coldly said to Ji Yu, "Young master has ordered that anyone who wants to enter the Lin mansion is not allowed to cover their face with a black robe. Otherwise, they will be arrested." Oh! Ji Yu was a bit surprised. He didn't think that Lin Chitian would want to make a move on him so soon. After all, he was the only one who would wear a black robe in the Lin mansion. Moreover, these people did not even ask about the situation before directly surrounding him. There was no other reason other than to target him. "Why are you still talking so much? You just want to make a move on me, so just come at me." Chapter 42. So it's you. Capture this brat. Seeing Ji Yu's true identity, the leader of the guards immediately scolded him. At his command, the rest of the guards surrounded Ji Yu with unfriendly looks on their faces. You can all try. Ji Yu smiled faintly, without the slightest trace of panic on his face. One of the guards seemed to want to steal the credit, and charged towards Ji Yu. Ding. Master has used Stone-Breaking Fist. Stone-Breaking Fist obtained experience, 100*999 ek. With one punch, the guard was sent flying, knocking into a few of his companions along the way. Ji Yu's punch had shocked all the guards present. Their faces were filled with disbelief as they stood rooted to the ground. The leader of the guards was also dumbfounded. His subordinates were all elite guards specially nurtured by the family, and their cultivations were at least at the 7th level of the body tempering stage. How could they not even withstand a single punch from this brat? Why aren't you moving? Ji Yu sneered. Since it's like this, then it's my turn. Even if these guards did not dare to attack him now, he would not let them go. If they don't offend me, I won't offend them. If they offend me, I'll definitely offend them. If they offend Ji Yu, then don't think they'll have a good time. Ji Yu's figure flashed and appeared in front of the leader of the guards in an instant. The leader of the guards was a 9th level body tempering stage martial artist, and although his opponent's speed was so fast that he could not see clearly, he was still able to react in time. His eyes flashed with a trace of viciousness as he slashed his sword towards Ji Yu. The leader of the guards thought that his sword was fast and ruthless, but in the eyes of Baiju Chen, it was like a child playing with a sword, not worth mentioning. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly as he clenched his right hand into a fist and smashed it towards the sword. Catcher! A crisp sound rang out as the leader of the guard's sword was shattered by Ji Yu's stone-breaking fist. The guard captain looked at the broken sword in his hand. He was dumbfounded. His mind went blank. He even forgot who he was for a moment. When the surrounding guards saw this scene, their faces were filled with disbelief. They were so shocked that their jaws almost fell to the ground. They couldn't believe their eyes. One had to know that the sword in their captain's hand was a grade 1 treasure, yet it was shattered by a single punch from this young man. Without giving him any chance to catch his breath, Ji Yu punched him in the face again. The guard captain couldn't react in time and took Ji Yu's punch head-on. Before he lost consciousness, he seemed to have heard the sound of his facial bones shattering. The captain of the guards rolled sideways and smashed into the wall of the Lin family's residence, creating a dent in the wall. One could see that his face had caved in and was covered in blood. He was almost disfigured. The surrounding guards who witnessed all of this felt as if their legs were filled with lead. They were frozen in place, unable to move because they were completely dumbfounded. The few who still had some consciousness didn't dare to go up and help, nor did they dare to run away. In their eyes, Ji Yu was like a fierce beast in human form. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to call him abnormal. Even the strongest captain had been beaten to a pulp by a single punch. If they went up, they would just be sending themselves to their deaths. Ji Yu indifferently looked at the disfigured captain of the guards. Suddenly, his eyes turned and his cold gaze fell on those guards. Those guards suddenly trembled and didn't dare to breathe loudly. There were even some guards who couldn't hold on any longer and crazily ran in all directions. Seeing that some of their companions had already run away, the rest of the guards also began to run. Even though their captain had been killed, they only had one thought in their minds. That was to run. If they didn't run, they would die. You still want to run now? Ji Yu coldly snorted. His figure blurred and disappeared. In almost an instant, he had caught up to the guard who had run the furthest. With one punch, there was nowhere to run. After dealing with one, Ji Yu immediately chased after the next one. After dealing with the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, the sixth one. Ding. Congratulations, Master. The yellow high-grade profound skill stone-breaking fist has successfully broken through to the perfection realm. After killing over 10 guards in one breath, Ji Yu had finally dealt with the last one. Even his profound fist skill stone-breaking fist had unknowingly broken through to the perfection realm. You, also go and die for me. Ji-yu coldly said as he gripped the last guard's neck with one hand. This guard's face was green and purple from being choked. His eyes were filled with fear. He kept ripping at Ji-yu's hand, but he couldn't move it at all. He was almost unable to breathe as he weakly begged, Don't kill me, I am innocent. Ji-yu smiled. His smile was very helpless. Before you caught me, did you ever think that I was innocent? From the beginning, he had never done anything that offended the heavens. But because he coincidentally obtained a spirit pill, his family was ruined and he was even chased to the point of being exterminated. In the next moment, his smile suddenly stopped because he heard Lin Chitian's voice. Stop for me. He saw Lin Chitian appear at the entrance of the Lin Manor. The guard who came with him was so scared that he fell to the ground. Ji-yu coldly glanced at Lin Chitian. His right hand squeezed and broke the guard's neck. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.